One.
Nice.
Hello, Primo, living BC.
Hey, good mother. How are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
Nice. I'm doing very well. Thank you for
Yeah.
having me on. Yeah.
Yeah. We've been gonna do this for a while now, right?
Yeah, I know. I know. It's all good. It's all good. It always works its way out, right?
Yeah. So you have some crazy bitch stories.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I have quite a few because like I'll kind of get into how I came about, I guess. Like
Yeah.
everyone has their own unique story, but
Yeah.
you know, I grew up with a single mother. I grew up in Ontario. I guess that's not quite unique. Quite a lot of us grew up in that, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, parents divorced. I was 5. I didn't really know my dad until I was 16. And then, my mother was dating all kinds of guys, crazy. The guy she actually got with was the person that I hated the most, of course, and she's still with him today. Um,
Right. Huh.
yeah, it's crazy though, right? Like, I don't know, people get in weird relationships that, like, you ever watch the movie American Beauty?
Uh-uh.
No, with Kevin
No.
Spacey and yeah, it's a really good movie. Well, they're a cookie cutter of that movie. They're like, yeah,
Ah, okay.
but it was never difficult for me, like, because I'm a tall guy. I grew when I was like about 16, so I'm 6'3". And when I was in high school, since I got kicked out of the house when I was young,
Mm-hmm.
like my mom got married when I was 14, 15. It didn't work out with me with that person, so I kind of lived on my own since then.
Yeah.
But I didn't really want to go back to that. So I just worked really hard at different things in life, like going to the gym. And I became a plumber when I was 21 years old. I had my license. I was running jobs for $1 million companies. So
Yeah.
it was always pretty easy for me. But I just noticed that the relationships weren't working. They would last 6 months to a year, and that's it, you know,
Yeah.
very frustrating. Because I would go in it with the mentality of the future, right? Like I'm getting in with somebody and we're going to be, 5 years, 10 years down the road.
Yeah.
And then to just say, I'm out. I think it was Human that said, it's kind of like you put all this in and then you're back to nothing. You put all this in and then you're back to nothing.
Right.
So it gets, yeah, it got to be nutty.
What do you think the consistent problem was? I mean, if you were to put your finger on it, like fundamentally,
I
was it
would
like,
say I would have this conversation with them where I would say, there's a whole bunch of guys that are exactly what you want, but I'm not that guy. So why are you trying to turn me into that guy when you can just go get that guy, And I would say
ah,
this to them.
so they wanted to change you? See, and it's like that saying I hear in the manosphere. It's like men get with women hoping they won't change, and women will get with men hoping they will change.
Exactly. And
Yeah,
they're both disappointed, right? That's what they
yeah,
say.
yeah, yeah. No, I hear it all the time.
It doesn't make sense. Like it really didn't make sense to me because I was thinking like there's so many of those. There's more of those people than there are of me.
Yeah, yeah,
Because I was driven to do those things, because I got my license and I worked hard and I ran jobs for $1 million companies when I was 20 years old, you
yeah,
know. I'm not a follower. I've never been that. And I made money because of that. Like I can't
yeah.
just turn into something else, right?
Well, okay. So, what did they try to turn you into?
Like more subservient, more like you know, just like the
Oh,
shaming language and like to be more of a follower, like the conversation
yeah,
of, oh, we need to be more equal, and then as soon as it would be like an hour discussion about how we're gonna make it equal, and then as
right,
soon as if I would agree to it, it wouldn't be long before I would say, this doesn't seem equal. It seems like you're running the show here, you know?
right. Oh, so were they all feminists?
No, not all of them. It was only a couple of them that I had those issues with. But
Yeah.
yeah, it would be yeah, in a short amount of time, I would be like, well, it seems like you're running the show here, and they would say, well, certain people have been in power for too long, and now it's time for us to be in. And I'm like, well, that's not what we just discussed, you know?
How do you go from equality to supremacy in that short of a time?
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And
Yeah.
and like some of the girls, it was crazy because some of them didn't even have jobs and they didn't know what they wanted to do, but they knew they were not going to be a stay-at-home wife at all, like not at all,
Yeah.
you
Is
know?
is is that what you were looking for? Like, were you looking for like a future wife and to start a family?
Some type of family for sure. Like I think for about 15, 20 years, I was kind of hoping for something like that, you know? And I would say that's probably what makes me the most angry about it is because I know now and I try to educate other people so they don't do the same things that I did,
Yeah.
you know? But I know some of those older guys knew about it, but they just didn't want to say anything. They were afraid, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So I heard that on a panel earlier. A woman I was talking with, she's 50, and she kind of said the same thing that a lot of people when they were younger, they just dated, just thinking, oh, the it'll work out and then the family thing would happen. Nobody actually from the beginning like sat down and made a plan and were like, hey, this is what I want. It doesn't match what you want. They just got together with people they liked, just assuming that it would turn into something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true too. Yeah, I think that happens a lot too. And people think they can change other people, right? I think that
Right.
comes into play as well, you know?
Yeah.
And I've never been of the mind that I'm going to change anybody, you know?
Yeah. Well, you're
But
not a mother terrorist.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But I learned at a young age too that it's really difficult if you have one parent because then you really have no parent. Like it's hard because you have to provide and it was so hard, I know, for one parent and it would have been so much better to have two. It would have been, you know.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think that the courts make it so that just it's too easy to go the other way, you know. It's too easy and people will just do the wrong thing and then I made a mistake, you know, and the kids suffer, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So what's your craziest bitch experience? The
The
craziest.
craziest one.
Yeah.
So I broke my foot at work in 2009 in 5 places. And
Oh wow.
within 12 hours, the girlfriend that I was with for a year broke up with me as soon as she found out.
What? What?
And but she wanted to be friends. And I never like it just doesn't work. But I said, well, that's not really starting off on the right foot, right? You know, you want to be friends and you break up 12 hours less than I just broke my foot. So she says,
Right.
okay, I'll unbreak up with you. I immediately regretted it because I'm like, now I have to do it. She bought me tickets for the UFC, which was like 3 months down the road in Montreal. And that was quite an experience. It was good, but it was one heck of a weekend with somebody that I should have broke up with 3 months ago, you know?
Right.
And I
Right.
really didn't enjoy her company three
Yeah.
months ago. And now, and we just spent 5 hours in the car together and that was not good.
Yeah.
But she used to always say to me, because she had a university degree, she worked on a job site. She was like, I don't know what an actuary. I don't know what she did, but she went to university and we would watch Jeopardy all the time.
Yeah.
And sometimes when I would clearly win, she would say, well, I'm smarter than you are. And I would say, well, if you were, you wouldn't have just said that, right?
Right. 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 The king doesn't have to say he's the king. Like.
Exactly. And then she'd point to the degree on the wall, right? Oh, look at that says that I'm smarter than you, right? I say,
Right.
well, I went to trade school for free. that's 4 years that you put yourself into debt. And what do you make now? $18 an hour, right?
Right, right. Yeah,
She's
that sounds brilliant.
yeah, it's true. But she says it's not about the money. I said, I don't think so, but you do, right?
Right?
Yeah, I don't
Huh.
know. I wanted to ask you a question though.
Yeah.
This is a good one. I heard someone ask this the other day. I said, I gotta ask somebody, but I gotta ask someone that's actually gonna tell me the truth. And I don't know who
Right.
would, but you would.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
If
Shoot.
if women can manipulate better, they know how to manipulate, right?
They do. Yes. We're the masters.
Yeah. But how do
Yeah.
they not know when they're being manipulated by like the government, you know?
Because they're using the government.
Because they're getting something from it? That's why?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh
They're not being manipulated by the government. I know you guys like to think, oh, girls, this is done to them. All these feminists are a victim, and no, all that's bullshit. They
I,
use the government. They're not being manipulated.
no, but the
Manipulated.
government is using them to get money from us, right? Like
No,
through the
they have to go to the government. They're the one that starts it.
no, I know. But I'm
Yeah.
saying, but the government is using them, and they're both using each other. But the government is manipulating them to get money from us, right?
No, 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 no. They're using the government to get money from you.
No, I know that. But at the end of
Yeah.
the day, the government is the big killer here, right? Like when you were talking with RJ the other day about the snake and the apple, right?
Yeah.
The government is the apple. Or no, the government is the snake. Hold on, I had this.
Uh-huh.
The government is the snake, and the apple is feminism.
No, the snake is another woman. The government is the apple.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that you're right though with what you were saying about how they try to subvert people. Like that was always what I was afraid of the most,
Mm-hmm.
because I can see the girls to stay away from. I've been around
Yeah.
long enough that I can see those. But I'd be afraid of getting involved with somebody that, she's good and everything, but
Mm-hmm.
she's maybe doesn't really know, and then some Karen will take her and you know
Yep.
exactly what she would do, right?
Yep.
Oh, he's
Yep.
controlling you and you got to come with us. And wouldn't you want to go sleep with that really good looking guy over there?
Right. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's so nefarious. It's so crooked.
Mm-hmm.
Because we used to say this when we were kids and we would like fight with each other, when we were like little kids. We would say, I already scrambled his eggs and you can't unscramble an egg, which,
Yeah.
it's not good though because they're actually scrambling kids' eggs is what they're doing, with
Yeah.
all this craziness.
Yeah.
And it's too late. Once it's done, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I can't believe that's really going on now.
Yeah.
I always had the hardest time dealing with like other people, like the blue pill people, because like the white knights and stuff like that. Because you never know if someone just comes out to you and says something that you didn't do. Like that's happened before. I've seen
Oh
it
yeah.
happen. It's happened to me. Oh,
Yeah.
this person did this,
Yeah.
or I've even seen a fight and I've been a witness to it. And then when I try to be a witness, then one of the people will say, "Oh no, he did it too." And I'm like, I didn't do anything. I was a witness. I'm the witness here, right? Well,
Right.
not anymore, right?
Right. Right. Yeah. So which uh, how long ago did you come to this channel specifically?
I came in 2018, I believe, to your channel and like all those 21 and Chronic and all those channels. I think in 2018 or 2019, I would say
Yeah, it would have to be
2019.
so
Yeah,
fairly early on when I first started.
yeah, I would say fairly early on.
Okay. So which because a lot of these guys, claim a certain group, whether it be Red Pill or MGTOW or SYSB. I mean, you're obviously not SYSBM, but is there a
What is
certain
that?
Oh,
SOSBM.
it's Save Yourself, Black Men.
Oh, okay.
No, that's
Okay.
definitely not you.
No,
But
that's not me.
but do you claim a certain ideology, I guess, or philosophy?
I don't really, but I guess if I was anything, I would be a MGTOW. I guess like that's how I live my life, you know?
Yeah,
Like morals, values, ethics, and principles, you know, basically.
yeah,
I've always been that way. Even before I knew about the red pill, I've always operated that way. And, you know, and I've
yeah,
always said, the better you are to me, the better I am to you. That's it, you know?
right.
Treat people how you want to be treated. I don't know. I don't see anything hard with that, but that's another
It's
thing. I have another thing that just recently happened, you know,
well,
because I have high blood pressure. So I have to go like about every 3 or 4 months to see the doctor and they do tests and everything.
yeah.
But I have an older doctor and he's good. And where I live, it's like the West Coast. So it's like Seattle. It's like the Seattle of Canada.
Ugh.
And yeah, exactly. It's hard to find doctors because no one
Yeah,
wants to work here. It's expensive and they don't get
right.
paid much. And,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
so I finally had a good doctor. But then this angry Karen started working there. And I've been going there for like 3 years now that I don't even live there anymore. It's like an hour away.
Yeah.
And I kept going back there just because I like this doctor. But I had a problem with my car. And they would always say, "Why don't you call in? Why don't you call in?" I say, "Well, it's not that often. It's not that big of a deal. But if there's an emergency, then I'll call in. I'll save it for an emergency."
Right.
Well, sure enough, I had an emergency, and I said, "Would you mind just sending?" They wouldn't even send me a week. They sent me like 3 days, and they said you have to come see the doctor. I was like, "What's the big deal?" You know, it's nothing major. It's blood pressure medication. So I found a place in town here, and when I went there, this person had like when they called to get my stuff, this person told them, "Well, he hasn't done this. I have to go for all these tests now because of this person." You know, because if I don't like somebody, I'll leave them alone. But other people, when they don't like people, they'll go out of their way to make your life miserable, you know?
They will. They will. They use anything that they can.
Yeah. Why
Yeah.
though? That's what I don't understand, you know?
Yeah. I think because they're resentful and they are kind of power hungry.
Hmm.
So they'll use their resources to assert dominance over you.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's an inferiority complex. I believe, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree.
Because if you're a chess master, let's say, right? And then
Yeah.
I try to play chess with you and they tell me you guys are exactly the same and
Yeah.
you whoop my ass every time. And they say, well, she's only winning because she has an unfair advantage called the
Right.
patriarchy that you don't know about, right? Okay, well
Right.
now I'm gonna hate this enemy now, right?
Right. Yeah. That's exactly what the feminists do.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. But
Yeah.
that's why I can't see that how they can't see that, you know? Or
No,
do
they
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 just not care because they're benefiting? Is that's right?
that's exactly that. They know, they can see it, they deny it because they don't care and they benefit from it.
Mm,
Yes. That's exactly that.
man, wow. Yeah, it's unbelievable. And it's just getting worse and worse and worse. And the problem is, I think, is because we're saying something about it now, but they're
Hmm.
basically just saying, screw you, no problem, whatever, you know?
Yeah.
And by the time they say we need help, it's too
Yeah.
late, you know?
Yeah. Actually, Sir Eudice posted a meme earlier, yesterday maybe, that I shared. It was perfect for because you know my angle. My main gripe is the universities and the psychology field specifically, because the psychology field is attached to every other structure of our society and it pretty much
Yeah,
controls our society.
yeah. Yeah, I know. I actually took that when I was in grade 6. We had a really good teacher, and he taught us about psychology and how all these companies hire psychologists, like McDonald's, they use certain colors to make you not want to stay there. You just eat and leave, you know?
Really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The yellow and the colors that they use, yellow and red, will draw you in. And the colors
Yeah.
they use inside will make you eat and leave. They make you not want to stay there long.
Huh. That's interesting.
I know, right? I know. Yeah, and they all do it though. They all do it. They pay millions of dollars for it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, they do.
Mm-hmm.
They do.
Mm.
I don't know what's going on in the chat here. Hello, Lycan. Hey, Henry.
Yeah, exactly, right? It's the
Yeah, I don't.
patriarchy.
Right. Yeah, yeah. Well, and it's the psychology feminists. They're like, oh, people need to stop victim blaming. And
Yeah.
then they do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I had a doctor that sent me to see a psychologist once, and he was
Yeah.
hardcore against head meds. So he told me, he's like, do not take the antidepressants, but just talk to her. And she was a hardcore feminist, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Pretty girl, very pretty, but hardcore. Like, basically, her advice to everything was, oh, just suck it up and man up, and you're supposed to do this, and, you know?
Yeah. So did you ever get close to marrying any one of these thoughts or what?
I did a couple of times actually, and that was another thing too. When I got older, I started to notice because I had the same issue. Like, I'm kind of a rough-looking guy. I'm a big guy. I'm kind of rough-looking.
Yeah.
So what would happen is they would perceive me as a certain way, and by the
Yeah.
time they realize, by the time they realize that I'm just a decent dude and I'm not that exciting, I'm not crazy,
Right.
they're like, oh, I'm out of here. And I'm like, okay, I already hooked up with them like 7, 8 times,
Yeah.
If I wanted to, I would, but if not, like, and once I started getting older, I wouldn't even want to do that because there's too many problems that could be attached,
Yeah.
because I've seen it happen so many times that, everything's good and then you get invested and it just flips like that.
Right.
And you're so far in there that you can't say anything now, right?
Yeah.
It's a manipulation.
Yeah.
But with the marriage, I started to notice that when I was when I was around 30 and I was with girls like close to the same age, it would be
Mm-hmm.
so rushed of a transaction. Like by the second week, they'd be already talking about getting married, and I'm like, I don't even know your last name yet.
Right. Wait,
Yeah.
you didn't know her last name by the second week.
No, I did, but I mean, it's definitely too early to be talking about marriage, in my opinion. I think,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I think the internet has really hurt things, really, really hurt things.
Yeah. Because Primo, how old are you?
I'm 43.
Okay, so are you considered Gen X?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, 1980.
Like 19? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that is right.
I think so. I mean, I thought 83 or 82 or something was the cutoff for when millennials started,
Uh,
but I'm not sure.
well, I thought it was 2000 was the millennials, wasn't it?
When they ended?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay, I see. Yeah. That was a very different time though. Like when I grew up, there was no internet dating. When I was in high school, we didn't even have the word internet dating, didn't
Right.
exist.
Yeah. Right.
It was so different and everyone was with people on the same level, right? And
Right.
basically, like I used to play hockey when I was younger and I would date girls that like played volleyball or they were into sports too. And my friends dated other girls that were doing, the people that were into art dated boys and girls into art. That's
Yeah.
just kind of how it went. People that were into the same things got in relationships. But when I
Right.
moved out here, I bought a sailboat and I lived on a boat for 2 years. It was amazing. It was
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
And I would have never been able to do that if I was married. Never.
Right.
Never. And it was rough. Like there was some not so good times, like because it rains a lot out here. It's especially in the winter time, and it's
Yep.
salt water.
Yep.
But out of the 70% that it was kind of rough, there was at least 5% that was amazing. Like I remember one morning I woke up when the sun was coming up, and there was a whole
Mhm.
school of killer whales like just swimming right through where I was anchored. It was so beautiful.
Nice.
Yeah, it
That
was
is
so
cool.
beautiful. I
Is
know.
that the is that the Puget Sound or the ocean?
The ocean, the ocean.
Okay.
Yeah, it was so beautiful. I didn't even have time to get a camera because I just woke up and I was just having my coffee and they all were just swimming right by. It was so
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
And there was that time and there was at least 3 or 4 other times that I said, no matter how bad it ever has been, this is worth it right here,
Yeah.
because you'll never experience that, A lot of people will never experience that. Seeing giant killer whales like that they're
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of
Yeah,
a goal of mine is to go see some whales.
yeah, they're
Yeah.
beautiful. I love them.
Yeah.
It's really scary though when you see them because like my boat was 32 feet, so the whales are like 32 feet.
Right. Right. One wrong move and you could have been smashed.
Yeah, exactly. They're called killer whales for a reason, right?
Yeah. I think they're pretty cognizant of that though, and they tend
Yeah,
to be very gentle around boats. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
you
They
could
they
smash
don't.
them into bits easily.
Yeah, they really could. If you mess with them, they probably would, but they won't. They won't bother you. Yeah, they're very chill. They're docile, right?
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
beautiful animals, and the bald eagles too. Like I would see them like pretty much every night. They'd come down and catch big giant salmon and bring them back up to the nest. That was amazing too.
Yes. Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah, I remember this. I grew up in Washington.
Oh,
I,
nice, Washington
yeah.
State. Oh,
Yeah.
nice,
Yeah. Yeah. That's
nice.
kind of that's actually where Mrs. Sunkist is now.
Oh, really, really?
Oh
Wow.
yeah. She's having a hard time integrating into the culture.
Yeah, I bet. Where did she come from? Like, where did she?
Texas.
Yeah, I bet. I bet.
She's not used to a government dependent culture.
Hmm. Exactly. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy. It is so
Yeah.
crazy. Like I said, when I would go there, like my mom lives on Vancouver Island, so
Mm.
she would take a ferry here, and sometimes I would drive her there, and she would tell me like, take the Canadian flag off your car because people will smash it for a Canadian flag.
Really?
Yeah, because they're so crazy. They're like all like crazy lefties up here, and especially in Vancouver.
Huh.
Yeah, like I
Crazy
said, it's like Seattle.
crazy lefties will smash a Canadian flag?
Yeah,
Oh, but
yeah.
they'd probably fly a Pride or BLM flag, right?
100%. Yeah,
Uh,
100% they would.
that's so
100%.
gross.
It is. It is. And there's so many homeless people there too. And that is another thing too. Like I sometimes will talk to them and a lot of these guys are like they have kids and they're on child support and then they can't make the payments and they get kicked out and then they're on the street here and there's thousands of them here.
Right.
Thousands of them. It's unbelievable and no one is doing anything about it.
Right.
Like, I
Yeah.
don't really know what you could do at this point. I don't know what you could do. They have police every day. They go take them out. There's like 15, 20 cops. They go take all these tents and they have to lift them up and get out of there. And there's like 100 of them. Every day they do this. 20 cops and they take all these tents out. And then the next day, the same thing. Every day. Taxpayer money, you
Right.
know?
Right.
Couldn't we just buy a property and maybe give it to these people and build homesteads or something, you know? And then they can live with dignity instead of living out there and they have to pack up their tent every day. I can't imagine.
Yeah, I always wonder what gets people to that position. Like it's a chain of events, so obviously a downward
Yeah,
spiral. And I know there's usually drugs and alcohol involved, but
yeah.
but why is my question? Why are people going to drugs and alcohol? I mean,
Yeah. I think that psychology, what you're saying, like that's a huge part of it because I don't think they're even really given any type of productive advice or anything to anybody.
nope. No.
They want people on medication. That's what they want, you know?
Yeah.
And what they'll do is they'll create the imbalance. Like I saw that with my own eyes. The kids that are rambunctious, they put them on these meds, and then they need those meds, and then they need other meds too, right?
Right, to deal with the side effects from those meds. Like,
Exactly. And then they're
yeah.
on a cocktail of meds, you know? And
Yeah.
we're not meant to take these, you know, heavy chemicals for our whole life like that, right?
Right. Right.
That's what makes me so mad, you know, because these people are in positions of power and they're knowingly giving bad advice, you know.
Yeah. 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 That's why it pisses me off the most. That
Yeah,
field. I mean, that field has a lot of authority and power, and they are the most incompetent out of all of them.
they really are. They
Yeah.
really are. So why did those people think that you worked at the university?
Because I think because I talk about Texas A&M University all the time, they thought I
Oh,
worked there.
oh, okay. Because I've
Probably
crossed paths. I've crossed paths with university professors, and you don't seem like one of them. That's a
no.
good
Yeah, no. I have a lot of clients that work at the university,
thing.
so yeah,
Oh,
a
okay.
lot of good ones. Like these aren't your gender studies or anything.
Yeah,
Well, I did
yeah.
have one that I didn't even know was a gender studies professor, because for the past decade, all the conversations we ever had revolved around family. I mean, I did her hair for her wedding. I cut her son's hair. Like, she wasn't man hating.
Oh,
But for
wow,
some reason, she was a gender studies professor. You know what's
wow.
weird? Last time I saw her was after I started my channel and came to this conclusion. And I was kind of asking her questions because I'm like, what's the deal with this feminism shit? Like, and she kept talking about different stuff, and I'd ask her questions, and then we had a back and forth for over an hour, and she was spouting off a lot of the same fucking puppeted rhetoric. And I tried to
Yeah.
question her on it, and then she'd dodge it and then go over here like the typical feminist. And I remember her last comment before she walked out the door, because she was talking about men, and she made some comment like, or I said something like, well, that's really shitty, because like you kind of need the other sex to survive and procreate. So, and she
Hmm.
made a comment like, yeah, well, not very soon we won't, because all this stuff in the labs that are being done. And I was just
Wow.
like, what the fuck? This chick has a son and a husband, and she's saying this shit.
Wow.
That was the
Wow.
last time I saw her. She hasn't been back since. So I
Wow.
just,
Yeah, that's the
it's
killer when you see people like that have a son, you know, like you say, like, what?
yeah. Well, and we never talked about it. Like her political ideology stuff. Like, when I first asked her, I was like, "Yeah, do you know anything about this fucking feminism shit?" And she's like, "Really? You're asking me this?" I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "That's pretty much my life's work." I was like, "What?"
What? Wow.
Yeah. I was like, "Oh,
Wow.
we never touched on your life's work before. We talked about real shit." Like,
Yeah, no kidding. No
yeah.
kidding. Wow. Well, I have my background is Dutch. So my mother has a big family, my father has a big family, and I have a lot of cousins, and so many of them are single and over 30 and
Right.
angry,
Right.
and they're on head meds, and people
Right.
will give excuses like, "Oh, she's depressed because when the weather changes," and that's not why, you know.
Right. Right.
But always these excuses, you know. And the crazy thing is, all of them have had guys that wanted to marry them. All of them have,
Yeah.
and they just nah, and they all bragged about it too.
Right, right. Like a notch count of how many fucking. I saw that on Kevin Samuels. Like, a lot of these women who got like proposed to like 3 different times. I'm like, do you know what kind of fucking courage it takes a man to even ask that question? They have to be, at least 80% sure she'll say yes. Like,
Exactly, exactly, exactly. And that's another thing that I think that guys have a big problem with today. Like for me, I've never actively gone after anybody. I will always let them come to me first. And then I know that they're attracted to me, right?
Right.
I think a lot of guys that are just going, they haven't done the work, first of all. So they're wanting something that they haven't, you have to do something. You can't just go there and, go to the gym or improve yourself, read, get better at chess, do something. You can't just be laying on the couch all day eating Cheetos, playing Call of Duty, and expect that anyone's going to want to date you. That's unrealistic.
Right.
you
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
and they'll just go in like these to a mall or whatever and try to make it seem like it's a random encounter. But you think the girls don't know that you're just trying to talk to as many girls as you can? Like, they know what you're doing.
Yeah. So wait, so you just wait for him to come to you?
Well, no, I don't do that anymore. But when I was younger, I would do that, right?
Yeah.
I would not even worry about it. I would not even worry about it. I just do my own thing, and they would put themselves in my area, or come around me, or, like, they're never going to ask me out, but they'll come around and like twirl their hair or something like that, right?
Right. Yeah.
They'll let me know.
Yeah.
Come talk to me.
Yeah. That's what they're supposed to do.
Exactly. And I think that's where a lot of people are really messing up, because they're not, they're going after people that there's no sign. And that's where, people get themselves into big trouble,
Yeah. Yeah.
Because those are the times that the chances of something bad happening are very high, right?
Yeah.
Like a false allegation or something. And I've seen those happen too.
Yeah. What's the worst case scenario you've ever seen?
I almost got kicked out of trade school for a false allegation because when I went to trade school, there's some guys that came from far, far away, and they stay at the school. So once a month they would have a party, like the houses would have a party. I guess it's a residence or whatever, and they would stay on residence. So we would go party at that time. And some girl was just in the hallway, and we were standing there, and I knew who she was. Other people knew who she was, and she just basically grabbed me with everyone else around, and I stood there, and she says, "Are you coming with me or not?" And I was like, "Yeah." And another guy was like, "If you don't go, I'm gonna go." And I went. And we were young. This was like in 2001, 2002, right?
Yeah.
And I went with her. And when I came down, like, they were kind of laughing and stuff. Everyone saw that I came down. And when she came down, some of the other girls were not very nice about it. And she ran out. And I guess her friend ran after her and said, "How many were you drinking?" And she said, "Yeah." And she said, "You couldn't consent." And then they went and made a complaint about it. Meanwhile, I was shit-faced.
Right.
I was so fucked up. But they didn't care about that.
You were drinking too, though.
I was drinking too, yeah. Like, I was so hammered. She was only there for like half an hour. Like, she just got there. I was there for hours.
So she took advantage of your drunk ass. I mean, she was the one that was like, "Are you coming?"
Exactly. And then the security picked me up, and the police were there, and they took me in, and I stayed there for 24 hours, and then they let me go. They said, "She's not pressing charges." And I was like,
"Good.
Okay, that doesn't make, so what do I do now?" And they're like, "You're free to go." I was like, "So what happens to her?" And they're like, "Nothing. Like, she doesn't want to press charges." And I'm like, "I understand that, but do you see what I'm saying? Now it's pointed in the other direction, right? What is her penalty?"
Yeah.
They're like, "You're free to go, sir. Have a nice day." Okay. That should have been the time that I just said, "All right, I'm done."
No, you didn't learn your lesson yet, right?
No, still didn't learn it. But all the stories weren't out there, though. So, like I said, when I would tell people about that, and even the older guys, like my uncles and my cousins and stuff, "Oh, just don't do that again," right? Well, I didn't even do anything wrong. I did everything right.
Right. Yeah.
And then I would just not hang out in those places, because I'm like, well, even if something good or bad happens, I don't want it to, it could come back and bite me. So I don't want to get involved in anything like that.
Right.
You know?
Huh. Yeah, the Me Too stuff. I know a lot of these feminists and feminist sympathizers like to say, "Oh yeah, well it was a much needed thing. We're glad it happened, but maybe they went a little too far." I don't think it was a good thing at all. I think
I
it
don't think
it
so.
started out being a crock of shit. Like,
Yeah. Well, what I've always said from the start was what it should be is 1 year in jail on the table, and somebody has to go to jail for a year,
yeah, I
and,
agree.
and
I
you know,
like that.
yeah, I think that would be good, and same penalty for everybody, that way it's
Yep,
equality,
exactly. Ooh, I like that. That's a good
right?
idea, Primo. A year in
Yeah,
jail. Yeah.
or even whatever it could be, but they split it, and whoever gets it, right? One of them gets it, or the other one gets it, right?
See, I'm a fan of doubling down on the penalty for lying. Like, if you're going to falsely accuse, you should get 2 years.
Yeah, true. Because if done not for the lie, this whole thing would have never happened. So
Right.
yeah, that
Right.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
like
mean,
that idea.
because it wouldn't prevent women that actually got raped, which is very, very few. It wouldn't prevent them from coming forward because I feel like they would have some extra backing. Like, okay, I'm risking this. I'm right. I'm going to accuse this man of rape because he actually raped me. Like,
Yeah, yeah. And I think going to the police is a huge tell. Like if
yeah,
if that really happened, you're gonna go to the police.
yeah, yeah.
I don't see any way that you wouldn't. If that were
Right.
me, I mean, I would want to do everything I could to make sure that they were penalized by the
Yeah.
law, right?
Yeah, do those rape kits and then, do the morning after pill shit.
Absolutely.
Just in case. I mean, I don't know. I've never been raped, so I'm just thinking like what I would do in that situation. I would definitely go to the police. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. If any major crime like that, for sure I would want to go to the police.
Yeah.
But that another thing about out here is the crime is just rampant, like because
Right.
they're not giving anyone penalties.
Right.
Violent criminals are getting like nothing. When I moved here, there was a guy, some crazy guy that lives in the area. He doesn't even live here. He hangs out with some crazy girl that lives here. I don't know where. I think she lives with some old guy over here. But this is like the thuggo guy on the side, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy, I lived here since 2020. So in 2018, he had a minor tied up and he was raping her and binging on crystal meth. And he had a hatchet that he was going to cut her up with.
Holy
And
shit.
and I lived here a year and a half, 2 years later. He was here, so I don't know how long he got in jail for that, but he was here, so he obviously was less than 2 years. And then just last year, he just randomly stabbed somebody. And it was all on camera. It was at a Tim Hortons. He just like for no reason at all. And they gave him a year. It was or no 2 years. They called it assault.
Stabbing somebody?
Yeah, stabbing him like 7, 8 times from behind, and he punctured his lung and he punctured his liver. The guy was in the hospital for like 2 months. Like, why not give him attempted murder and keep him in jail? And now
Right.
we have to deal with that, right?
Right. What the
That's the
hell's going
problem.
on in Canada? We're gonna have to talk to the emperor about this.
I know we are.
Where's the emperor? Damn it.
I can't see. I don't see the chat, and I don't want to touch any buttons. So
Yeah. No, he's not in the chat.
okay. Because that same thing happened with me the other day when I was in Chaoses and I was trying, or no, Polska. I was trying
Mm-hmm.
with Polska, and I'm like, I'm not going to touch any buttons.
Yeah.
I'm like at least 3 months before Iridium Kush level, so he's 3 months advanced computer skills than me.
He's already surpassed me. He has like intro music and all kinds of shit. He makes shorts.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Oh nice, beautiful. Nice.
He does thumbnails. He doesn't just rely on his profile picture to
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
Nice, nice. That's one thing that I really like about this community, though, is that everybody's encouraging to each other, you know? Everyone wants to see each other do good, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why I think that those crazy bitches are like, they always try
Yeah.
to shit talk you because
I know.
you're accepted by the guys, you know? And they'll
I know.
that it would be so hard for them to do that, you know?
Yeah. Well, they would have to behave themselves and, be respectful.
Exactly,
I
exactly.
mean,
Say what you mean what you say, stuff
yeah.
like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Way out there stuff, right?
Yeah.
So you have the guy where you live, Steve Franzen. You know him? Steve
Uh-uh.
Franzen? You
Uh-uh.
don't
Who's
know
that?
him?
No.
He's involved in politics with the other shorter guy. I can't remember his name. The shorter guy, he's a conservative. They were doing like the Trump rallies and stuff. I'm sure it was in
Steve
Texas somewhere.
Friends and huh.
I don't think he's on YouTube anymore. He went to like the other platforms.
Oh, was he on YouTube though? Like,
Yeah, he used to be. When I first started on, like when I came on here 2019, I said he was on
yeah.
here. Yeah. And he was getting
Okay.
strikes all the time. And then I think he went to BitChute.
Is it this guy right here?
No, no,
No.
no, no, no. He's a young guy. He's probably like about 32, 33. Skinny guy.
Okay.
That
Okay.
guy right there. Yeah, that's him. Yeah.
This guy?
Yeah, that guy right there. Yeah.
Oh, Franson. Okay.
So I'm sure that he's involved with somebody in politics. That's where you are. That's a conservative, and I can't remember the guy's name. Smart guy, like
Yeah.
maybe a Ben Shapiro looking guy, I guess, kind of.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I can't remember the guy's name.
Is that somebody I should try to get a hold of?
No. I don't know. I guess there's a lot of conservatives in Texas, so it's just somebody that came to mind.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if he got canceled off of YouTube, he sounds like my kind of
Yeah,
guy.
yeah, I know. It's crazy to me how they'll censor things and not censor other things, right?
Right.
Like, don't you think society should be like right down the middle, and then people can be left or right if they want, you know?
Right.
I think that's kind of how it should be.
Yeah. I think we should all have free speech, and the idiots should be allowed to speak, and the emotionally and mentally unstable fucking retards should not be allowed to cancel people's channels.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Because their feelings are hurt, because they're offended by words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've always been really good at like pattern recognition and being able to see the bigger picture and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And ever since I started on here, so I'm involved in 3 different groups. So like the Red Pill MGTOW type group, I guess. The Freedom Convoy, like I met probably 25, 30 different people from the Freedom Convoy that I'm part of their group as well. And also a guy that was one of my apprentices started a predator catching channel where like he poses as a minor and catches people that are trying to meet kids.
Oh, wow.
And those channels are exploding on YouTube.
Good.
There's so many of them, but I'm involved with them too to support them.
Yeah.
It's crazy though. I can't believe it. The guy that I know no longer has his YouTube channel. He got yeeted. They booted him off. He can't even come back on here. And they have a lawsuit against him because of one of the families of one of the guys that he caught that was a previous offender. And the guy, like, he ended himself, one of the child predators and child people, that word that I can't say. He ended himself, and then there was some lawsuit against him. And he can't have a YouTube channel. It's all tied into that.
Really?
Yeah.
The lawsuit says he can't have social media?
No. But it's all like he got booted off of YouTube because of the strikes and everything. And then, he has the lawsuit. I don't know how. It's just all the family, I guess. That's, But it's unbelievable to me because even the cops would give him a hard time. You know, when the cops would show up, they'd say, well, who do you have authority to do this? And he's like, well, who gives this guy authority to meet a kid? You know?
Right.
Well,
Right.
if yeah, exactly. And they'd
Right.
say, well, if you do this, then we can't arrest him. And he says, well, you're not arresting him anyway. So at least I'm
Right.
putting him on blast. You know, that's the point of it, right?
Right. Right. Yeah.
But they don't like that, I guess. You know, they didn't like that. Over 50% of the time, the cops would give my buddy shit. Like, they wouldn't even care about the predator, the person. They'd give my buddy crap, you know?
Right.
Like, you know, he's the good guy here, right?
I think I've seen a channel kind of like that. It was
Yeah.
like a what, I forget what it was called. It's like pedophile hunter or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. Like CP Hunter. They have like CP Catcher and stuff. PP Catcher.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. But it's unbelievable how people will just do that and think it's okay, you know? Or like
Yeah.
even like gay guys that will go on there on Grinder and meeting like a 12-year-old. I would never be able to do that. I would never be able to catch those people and not do anything to them. Because they all say the same shit. They all say
Right.
the same shit.
Right.
It's crazy. You know, it's just like the women, you know, when oh, I love you, I'm just not in love with you, you know, the same vernacular, right?
Yeah. No, it's in the same realm for sure.
Yeah.
It's not being honest.
Not being sincere, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like
Yeah.
the programmed responses, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because I guess that's true. Their responses are a virtue signal, right? Because they're trying to make it
Yes.
seem like, because that's what they would do. Oh, I'm here to help them. I was going to take them to McDonald's. Oh, I wasn't going to do
Right.
anything, but you're
Right.
here.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Why are you here? Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
they all lie. Sorry.
Yeah. They all do. Well, because they know they're doing wrong and they don't want to get in trouble, which
Yeah,
they should
exactly.
because they're doing
That's what
wrong.
makes me angry because that's
Yeah.
all they care about is that they're getting in trouble. And
Yep.
they'll say that. So how long is this going to last? When is this over? Like,
Mhm.
you know that you would have ruined the kid's life, right?
Right.
Like forever, not 10 minutes and then it's over. Like forever that kid's life is ruined.
Right. Because of somebody's instant gratification, pleasure seeking bullshit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because
Yeah.
they're untreated childhood trauma survivors, they're going to spread it to this kid now, right?
Right.
That's
Right.
that's what it is, you know. It's
Yeah.
just like how the bullies become they're bullied and they become bullies, right?
Yep.
Because they feel powerless, so they want to go push other people around. It makes them feel good, right? I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me, but like I understand it.
Yeah. Yeah. I always wonder where these kids' moms are. Why is mom not protecting the kid? Mom is the last line of defense when it comes to the child's protection. Where's mom?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. See, I blame
Yeah,
the
but
moms more than I blame the predators. If the mom
yeah,
was doing her job, a predator won't get to your child.
exactly. That's another like the step parent situation is never a good situation and you're not allowed to talk about that,
Right.
you know? Like at best it's not the greatest for the kids, you know, and it can be very bad, you know. I've known people that I've heard horrible things that's gone on in step parent situations, you know, and that it's the mom, you know, the mom is supposed to protect the kids. She's the last line of defense, like you said, right?
Yeah.
And it's about exposing the kids to these, you know, like I would say that when I was still dating before I gave up on it when I was like 36. I would say that to them. If you care about your kids so much, maybe it's not such a good idea to meet random dudes off the internet, right?
Right. Right. Yeah. So, I mean, stepdad situations. I mean, stepdads used to be held to a higher I don't know. I had a stepdad. My mom was a crazy bitch. So my father was pretty awesome. And he knew my stepdad. Like him and my stepdad were friends.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I
Oh,
mean,
wow.
my stepdad, my mom brought him home from a bar. He was in the Navy Reserves,
Oh.
and she had 4 kids. Like he
Oh
he
wow.
took he took that on. Like
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
which I mean that's our dad too. So,
Yeah.
but him and my father had a really good relationship because it was like my mom used the state and all kinds of shit and just completely destroyed those men and
Mm.
would fuck with the kids. So it's like the dads. I always joke that I had 2 dads that weren't gay.
Yeah, no doubt. I guess they kind of bonded with each other over that, right?
Yeah, and I mean, I remember having conversations with my father about how shitty my mom was, and he would always look on the bright side. He was like, "Well, she did one thing right. She found you a really good stepdad that could be there when I can't." So, yeah,
Nice, nice.
yeah. No, they had a lot of respect for each other. I mean, they were in like the same boat. Like,
Yeah,
she lied to both of them. She kind of trapped both of them, and there were children that came out of it. So.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a different time, right? Like now, I don't know. It's so different now. I just
Yeah.
people would appreciate somebody that would step up into that role almost, whereas
Yeah.
now people won't appreciate that at all. Like I see people that, and I can tell that they're not, I can tell that they're the stepdad by their body language.
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
it's, I don't know. I've known people that they have some really bad situations up here because the government will incentivize some of these women to have kids so they won't
Yep.
have to go to work.
Yep.
So I knew a girl that lived in my building here, and she had a boyfriend. She was trying to hook up with me, but I wasn't interested because I could tell she had a rough past, right?
Yeah.
She had 3 sisters and 1 brother, and they all had different fathers, all of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And her and one of her sisters were attractive, and both of them got kicked out of the house when they were 14. And I already
Mm.
know why, because the mother viewed them as competition. The guys are
Right.
always going to be attracted to the younger girls, and the mother hated them, so she kicked them out.
Right.
But they have no
Right.
chance at life.
Right. Right. What about grandma? Because I know my nana was really important in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. My grandparents were very important in my life. Until I was 5 years, the first language I learned how to speak was Dutch because
Mm.
I lived with my grandmother and she didn't speak English for a little while.
Nice.
hmm hmm Yeah, it was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I always tell people about this as well because we used to have a family picnic every year and there was tons of us. Like my mom has 17 brothers and sisters. 17. It's a
Holy
lot.
shit. From the same.
From
From
the
the
same
same.
two parents. Yeah, yeah. Same two parents.
Wow.
And
That's.
there 18 actually. One of them was passed away when it was a baby. So
Yeah. That's a huge family.
I know it's huge. But
Yeah.
it's crazy because they used to have family picnics and everyone used to work together when they came here. Like they
Mm.
lived together, they lived in a farmhouse, they were farmers. And
Yeah.
within one generation, they all turned against each other and hated each other. And the family picnics, they don't even have them anymore because of the
Mm.
gossip. It was the gossip that ruined it,
Right.
you know? Like one of my uncles has a business, that, and I would tell my mother this all the time, even as a kid. It's not 40 hours a week when you have a business like that. Like he's always
Nope.
working. I've seen him,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, and then these people would talk bad about him, and sometimes he would even hear them talk bad about him. Like he's not going to keep coming here.
Right.
But. And then other people, the same thing. And I always thought it was certain people, but it is whoever's not there. That's who gets talked about.
Right.
Nobody's immune, right? Everyone will get it.
Yeah. So with that generation, let's see, your parents' generation that they had. So how many cousins do you have? Like, how many of them
Ooh,
had children? Did any of them have like big families?
that's very interesting. My
Yeah.
first, the oldest daughter, so that was my uncle's the oldest son that had the
Yeah.
big company. The oldest daughter, their family is all stay-at-home wives they all work together. They built a little schoolhouse and they all teach each other's kids.
Yeah.
And they all have 3, 4 kids each. My cousins have 3, 4 kids each.
Yeah.
And now they all have their kids and they're homeschooling them. And my cousin has a carpentry company, so they all work together
Yeah.
and they all homeschool their kids. And yeah, they all do it like how my mom's family used to do it. But they're the only ones.
2 out of 17?
Yeah. Actually,
Wow.
only one,
Oh,
because the
one.
oldest one had the business, so his kids all went into the business pretty much, and they've had
Okay.
families, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't say they're traditional families by any.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So,
the oldest girl, they're all traditional.
huh. That's crazy. So I wonder if because they came from such a large family, because do you have any siblings?
No, I don't. No,
Okay, so one child. Yeah,
I have 2 stepbrothers and 2 stepsisters from my mother's marriage now, but
yeah,
I'm the only child from my parents.
yeah. That's crazy.
I know.
God, that family could have just like if everybody did that, you guys would have a fucking town.
Oh yeah. That's what I
Yeah,
say to my mom all the time. I say, imagine we all work together. We could
yeah,
all own properties. We could all own, we'd be the royal family. There's so many of us, but
right, right.
everybody hates each other. These people don't like these people. It's crazy. I said, what good does that do? It does nobody any good.
Yeah,
It's crazy to me. Why would you want to live that way? Why
yeah,
not just be nice to people? Why not?
right. So you don't have any kids?
No, 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 I don't.
You
Not
don't
that
have
I
any
know of.
you don't have any bastards running around that you know of?
Not that I know of. No, no, no. Do you have any brothers or sisters? You
Oh,
don't?
I do. Yeah,
Oh,
I
you
have
do?
a sister. I had 2 brothers, but my youngest one died.
Oh,
So
so you have a
yeah,
brother and a sister.
I do. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Do they live in around where you live now?
Nope, they live in Washington.
Oh, wow, wow.
Yeah.
So you didn't like Washington, I guess.
No, it's a shithole.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
I don't really like the West Coast, if I'm being completely honest, because just the people are just, I don't know, they're so fake out here.
Yeah.
And when they see me, because I'm not like that at all. So it's funny because some people they don't even know how to act. Just
Yeah.
be normal, like say hello, whatever. No, I don't know.
I think people are afraid to be themselves in our society. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that little stream that I shared on the last stream, I took a little clip from a panel that Mrs. Sunkist was on, and
Oh,
I listened to it from the beginning, and these women were talking about how because they're acting, right? They're acting online, and they're like, yeah, well, I'm never gonna be myself around anybody really unless I really trust them and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, I don't really get that. Like, why
yeah.
act? Why put on a front or a show or I don't know.
Exactly. If I feel like I have to be something other than myself, like I just won't be there. Like I don't know. You are
Yeah,
who you are. That's it. Be comfortable.
yeah,
Whatever. As long as you're respectful of one another, right?
yeah. Well, it sounds easy, right? Because it
Yeah.
is,
I know it is easy,
right?
but for some people, they just can't do it.
Yeah. So with you not having any children, your lineage kind of you don't get to have a legacy.
No, no.
Is that something like you're good with? Have you
Yeah,
settled
yeah,
on you're comfortable with that?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm not really too. Yeah, yeah, I'm good. I used to want to do that, but I'm not at the point in my life right now where I want to be doing, busting my ass at the high level that I used to from 18 to 36, right?
Right. Right.
But I mean, it's just a lot easier. I don't know. I can do it with a lot less effort, especially by myself. So, but I don't know. I just wouldn't do it in this country because of the laws, right?
Yeah, what's wrong with the laws?
The
Tell
family
me.
court. The
Tell
family
me
court.
all about it.
The family court.
Yeah.
Because well, I saw what happened with my dad, but I mean, I don't know. My dad, I don't know. It gets bad because even when I see people that try to be cordial about family court, it's always some shyster lawyer that's like, it's better if you just come and do some paperwork, that way you don't get screwed. And then they get you in their office. They say, well, now that you're in here, and they get the knives out, and then you're going for everything,
Right.
and then both people are upset at each other. It's just so negative.
Right. Yeah.
It's a business, right?
It is a business, isn't it? It's a corporation, isn't it? Like,
Yeah, yeah. Well, like we were saying about the other thing that, the roosters going around, right? The roosters and the jibby jabby. It's a
the what?
business.
The what?
The jibby jabby and the roosters,
The
the
roosters.
shots.
Oh, the virus, the coronavirus and
Yes,
the vaccine?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So to make money, right? Like people don't understand that. I would explain it to them all the time. Like when you're working, like as a plumber, you make $50 an hour. You're really making like $80 an hour. But like 20, 25, $30 is going into prescription and benefits and all this stuff, right?
Hmm.
It's all tax money but you don't even see it. So you don't even think you're paying it.
Right.
Like I know a lot of guys that I worked with, they didn't understand that. They would think, well, we make this much money. And I say, but we're paying like $20 an hour to the union too, for our
Right.
benefits and all that other stuff.
Right.
But I don't know. They're adding so much stuff onto that, I think. And people are paying so much that there's nothing left over at the end, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like another thing, I don't know if you have this where you are, but there's so many people where I live that live in motorhomes and stuff like that. So many people, and they go to work. Like these people have jobs and stuff.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, not necessarily my area.
no, but I
Hmm.
mean, probably in like Seattle or Washington State and stuff like that, right?
Oh, probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to work though.
No, yeah.
No, nobody up there wants to work. So
No. And it got so much worse when everyone stayed home and they gave everyone free money too, right?
yes,
It got so much worse.
yes, it did.
So that's what I think is the biggest demoralizer to people in society. Like, I don't think there should be any free money for anybody. Well, it's easy for
Right,
me to say because I've never gotten any free money. So it's easy
right.
for me to say.
I agree. I agree. Free money makes slaves. Like,
Exactly.
yeah,
And what it'll do is it creates a system where certain people don't like other people and they're fighting against each other, right?
yep,
Because if we all get paid the same and you're an electrician and you're like a 10 out of 10 and I'm a 3 out of 10 and we both make $50 an hour, you're not really
right,
going to want to put in a 10 out of 10 effort, right?
right, right. Why would I if it's not a
Exactly.
meritocracy?
Exactly.
Yeah,
I would say I'll do a 3 out of 10 effort. And otherwise I want 3 times the paycheck. But I want the money, right?
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But I've seen it happen so many times. And then like even with the nepotism and stuff, like some guys will work all the way and they'll get to like a foreman position or whatever, and then some other guy will just get hired and he's the boss's nephew. And now he's doing the job, right? Or he's getting paid for it. You're doing the job.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you'll still get paid what you get paid, but I mean he's getting paid the extra bonuses, right? He's
Right.
getting the perks of being the foreman.
Yeah. I have to look up that word. I think Emmanuel said that nepotism. Let's see. The practice among those with power or influence of favoring relatives or friends, especially by giving them jobs. Okay.
Yeah, hiring family and stuff like that, right? Giving them favoritism and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard people say it, but I'm like, I don't really even know what that word means.
Yeah.
So now I do. Got it.
Nice. You learn something new every day, right?
I do. I learn many, many new things every single day. I love it.
Yeah, me too. That's the best attitude to have,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, improving, and so many people don't have that way of thought. They think I'm as good as I am, I'm as accept me for who I am.
Yeah.
But you
Yeah.
can be better.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Harley said I got some strong storms coming my way in a few hours. She's the storm watcher. That's a hobby of hers.
Does
We
she
had
live
a
near me? She must live near me because I can hear it right now.
no. No,
Okay.
Harley's in another state. No,
Oh, okay.
she's talking about storms coming through Texas, I guess.
Oh, oh
Yeah.
wow. Yeah, we've been
She
getting a lot of rain here.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, it rained a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Pliskin lives close to me. He said it's
Oh,
getting
okay.
windy.
Huh.
Well, I'm sure if there's going to be a tornado coming, Harley will send me a text.
Oh, why are they saying that there might be?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh,
She's
okay.
just she's into the weather and she watches the storms, and
Oh, oh, I
so
see.
if she sees any craziness around my part, she'll let me know.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. It's not too crazy where you live, though. I guess, right? It's a pretty conservative place.
Very conservative. Yeah, even for being a university town.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, there are professors and there are ideologies that are in my university that I would like to see removed.
Yeah,
Because I don't think it's a good idea to emotionally terrorize young women into hating men, especially when their brain hasn't even properly formed all the way.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's a key right there too, right? That your brain doesn't develop until you're 25, 24, 25, right?
Right.
It's so nasty to go after children like that,
Yeah.
because this is another thing that I was saying, and I've been saying this for years. It's not even right to bring them to the parade because then you're making the decision for them, right? What if they don't
Right.
agree with that? Shouldn't they be allowed to not agree with that?
Yep.
They should be allowed to. I don't agree with it, right? Or you're free to. You can make whatever choice you want, right? If anyone else can choose, then I can choose too. So
Right. Uh-oh. We might have a tornado tonight.
I mean, oh wow, it is bad outside where I am too. I can hear it. It's a
Yeah.
thunderstorm.
Hmm.
I don't disagree with it that I would want to stop other people from doing whatever, but I don't think they should be promoting it to anybody. People can
Right.
do whatever they want if they're not hurting anyone, they're not telling me about it. Don't promote it to people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about that teacher? The teacher with the fake prosthetics there. You think he's a troll?
He's got to be a troll.
I think so too.
He has to be a troll.
I think so.
Yeah.
I
I mean, he's a shop teacher. I remember my shop teacher in high school. He was a badass. Like
100%.
anybody that I know that's a man that works with wood is a badass. So,
Yeah, 100%. They know how to read a measuring tape, they
yeah.
know what they're doing with tools, right?
Yeah.
They have a real East Wing hammer, not like one of those hook hammers.
Yeah.
That's how you can always tell if somebody's a professional by their hammer, by their tools, but their hammer.
Yeah.
But yeah, 100%. When I saw that picture of him, because it looked like he was smirking underneath the mask, that one
Yeah.
picture. I go,
Yeah.
he's not serious.
Yeah.
He probably had enough, and he said, "Screw this." They
Yeah.
want to play games. I'll play games.
Yeah.
100%. That's what he did.
Yeah. Yeah. See, Outlaw works with wood. There goes
Oh,
badass.
nice. Yeah,
Yeah,
beautiful, beautiful.
I don't know a single dude that works with wood that you would ever really find doing dumb shit like that, you know? Like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly, exactly. And he doesn't really look like he's transitioning. He looks like he's wearing a costume, you know? He doesn't
yeah.
look like he's doing it in a serious way. Like it looks like a cartoon. I wonder where you could even buy that, you know?
He could have made it, you know?
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Like
Hmm.
what would you even say? I want the biggest cartoony looking, you know, like beyond crazy.
I need some anime tits.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Like a cartoon, but in real life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that made me laugh. Unbelievable. And another thing that made me laugh was there was like a news station that was talking to the principal of that school, and the
Mhm.
principal was trying to be politically correct. And I was like, I can't believe this guy's not bursting out laughing. Like, how can you
Right.
say that with a straight face, you know?
Right. Well, a lot of these guys don't think it's funny though. That's the thing. Like if I've talked to some people that were like pro all this shit that we're against, and they don't have a sense of humor for one, and
Mm-hmm.
they don't find stuff funny that we find funny, which I think
Yeah,
is weird. Like,
yeah.
yeah,
I think they just kind of look for an excuse to get mad at somebody, you know?
yeah. Well,
I
they're
think.
supposed to. They're supposed to be mad at people, right? That's
Yeah,
their job. That's the white knight's job.
yeah.
The feminists' white knight's job.
There was another guy that lived in the building here. He moved out about 6 months ago or so, but
Mm.
he came in one day and he was snapping, and I'm like, "What's the matter, man?" And he's like, he basically was saying about there was somebody that was transitioning or whatever, and he was like, "I just got into an argument with this person that was, you know." I thought it was a woman, but it was a guy. But it was a guy dressed up as a woman, so he thought it was a woman because she was wearing a dress with a wig and stuff. So he's, excuse me, ma'am, I'm not a ma'am, I'm a sir. He's like, and
What?
then, and the guy said to me, he's like, and that guy's not happy, you know, they're not happy like that. He's looking to start an argument with somebody. That's why he's like, you know, you're trying to confuse people so that you can get angry at them when they don't know what you're doing. Right?
Right, right, right.
But
Well,
the thing
shit.
is, you know, sorry.
I guess we are going to have a tornado. 10:20 p.m.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Well, maybe. I guess the storm's expected to hit. I guess it's up in towards Waco. That's actually where Paul is. War room.
Oh nice.
What?
I just
That
watched
might.
that documentary, Waco. It was a good documentary about government corruption.
Right.
That guy Michael Shannon was in it. That actor.
I don't think I know that one.
No?
Uh-uh.
Waco with was about the David Koresh. But it had to do with Jonestown, that because they made a mistake at Jonestown and all those people died, that's why they like did what they did at Waco. But there's like a big debate whether like they started the fire or the people started the fire. I think the police started the fire, and that's what
Hmm.
killed the people.
Hmm.
But they should have just left them alone, in my opinion. And I've said that even at the time. Like, why are they bothering these people? They're just they're minding their own business. I don't.
Right.
But
I,
sure, they're weird. But aren't you allowed to be weird? There's a lot of weird people, right?
yeah. We have tons of weird people. I mean,
Oh yeah.
they weren't flat earthers, right?
No. Yeah.
So they're not that weird.
Are those people serious when they say that? Because when people say that flat Earth, I always think that it's just like a joke. Because like people can't really think that's real.
They think it's real.
They really
They're
think that's real.
they're that fucked in the head. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I don't know. This
Yeah.
is crazy. It's really crazy. It's unbelievable how you see people on in like Africa and stuff like that that they live in villages and they're happy. You know, they don't even know what antidepressants are. They never heard of them. You know.
Right. I don't know. I don't see the flat earthers as being any more crazier than the black nationalists who think all white people have racist DNA.
Yeah, yeah, that too. That
Yeah.
too. That was another thing that you were talking about was how the in the manosphere how they make it like an issue of race, which it
Yes.
does. It's more of an issue of guys, right, and women. You know, I don't
Yes.
think it's an issue of race at all.
The black manosphere, they segregated themselves. They wanted their own fucking space, but for some reason they think their problems are worse or different than the rest of the men. And they blame a lot of the shit feminism is causing on white people, on the white
Mm,
man. Like
mm.
like they
Yeah,
puppet
that's not good.
yeah, no, they puppet a lot of the same shit feminists say, only they switch a couple words around. They'll
Mm,
put black in it and then they'll put, people instead of women. That's the only difference, and they puppet the same sentences. It's fucking weird.
yeah, wow. That's why I think they were so scared of the Freedom Convoy because that was a grassroots movement of people coming together, right? And that's not what they want. You know, they want everybody separate.
Right. Right.
And I don't mean like, but that's why they'll never cancel that type of stuff, right? Like they'll never censor that because it's divisive, right? It divides people. Something
Yeah.
that tries to bring everyone together, they won't want that. But they should want that. And the countries are strong, we're united. It's so divided now, you know. And I don't know if it's like that. I'm sure it's like that in the States too. It's really divided here. People hate each other here.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. Like when I have to go do anything, like grocery shopping or anything, I'll go first thing in the morning, like right first thing in the morning, because that's when the pleasant people go out.
The old people?
Hmm. Yeah. Well, in the middle of the day, you could get anything. There could be crazy people there. Like, it's
Yeah.
wild. It's wild.
Huh.
Like, that was one reason why I didn't like to go to Vancouver because of all the tent cities. But some of them I would try to talk to them or whatever, maybe get them a coffee or something like that. But like I said, a lot of them are in family court and, they have a wife and kids and stuff like that. And it's just sad to see.
Hmm.
I don't know. Yeah, it's got to be rough sleeping outside like that, in the rain. And then, like I said, in these tent cities or whatever, the cops will come by every morning and they have to pack up their stuff. And that's all taxpayer money. Like,
Yeah.
it's just wasteful to me. We're just spending money here instead of spending money here. And basically, the attitude is, well, they should
Right.
just go work somewhere. Well, nobody's going to hire them, you know?
Right.
Like you could probably get me to go down there and get them to wear orange vests or something and give them brooms and dustpans and we'll all go sweep. I'll help you if you want, but I don't think anything else will materialize, because people won't hire them. It'll be hard for them.
Why won't they hire him? Because of the way they present themselves, their
I
clothes,
think
their
so. I think that's why, because of the way they present, like their clothes and stuff like that, I believe. And if they don't have housing, they won't be able to take a shower and stuff like that. So
right.
they'll probably smell pretty bad. I believe. I don't know. And then they won't be able to keep the job.
Right. You know
And
what? It sounds like camping. I mean, there were times growing up where we spent like 2 months fucking in the woods because we were homeless. Like,
yeah, yeah.
just camping. I mean, what if we allocated some money to like some proper campgrounds that have like a shower, and that could be
Yeah,
like a halfway campground where people could shower. Like the only way they can camp there is if they're going to be getting ready for a job. Like,
yeah. Well, what they've done in Portland is they have these little properties and they build like a tiny home community, and
mhm,
everyone has to contribute to the community. Like they have little gardens and stuff, and everyone
yeah,
has to do 15 to 20 hours every week of whatever their jobs are. But it's a
mhm,
good little idea, and it's all fenced in, and there's no alcohol and no drugs, nothing allowed. So
yeah,
that keeps it, you know. But I wanted to do something like that, but it's just so much money. The cost is so high. Like the properties
right,
here are so expensive.
right. Yeah, that's what Ryan says about up there in Canada. Like the cost of living's out of control.
Oh yeah, especially out here, the West Coast. Like
Yeah.
I used to live in Toronto, and the cost of living is double what it is. Like it's double out here what it was over there. And
Because how long would I mean say we got this campground thing going on, right? And the
yeah,
stipulations are you can't spend your like you have to save your money, right? Save your
yeah,
money to get you into a house. Like so you can't be wasting your money on alcohol. You can't be doing drugs on the campground. If you do, you get fucking evicted. But a place for people who actually want to do better, that want to get a job, that want to be able to have a place to get ready for your job. I think that would
yeah.
be cool.
That is a good idea. That is a good idea. I think it would be good if it was even a tiny house community like that, and then the people could stay there for even 6 months or something, and then they could establish themselves, right? Like there's showers there and stuff, and just a little tiny house with like a couch that folds into a bed and a fridge, and that's it, you know? And then they can establish themselves, save their money, and then, have a shower, go to work to their job or whatever. I think that would be good.
See, that sounds way too comfortable.
Yeah, it is
Like
pretty comfortable.
way too comfortable. Like they're already in tents. They just don't have access to shower.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. That's true. Well, the tents I don't think are too bad though.
No, camping's fun.
Yeah,
Like,
it is. It is.
yeah,
It is. But the
it's
thing
not the
is,
worst
like,
thing.
yeah, I know. But they're popping up all over the place here now. Like, there's one not too far from my house now. Like, just I can walk there like 5 minutes. It's off some little side street, and I just walked by there the other day. I saw like 7, 8 tents there, and yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they can do about that because what happened was a lot of people came from China, and these are people with money. Like some of them are even like criminal money. That's why they're opening up all these Chinese police stations here so they can bust all those people. Like the Chinese government wants that money.
Wait, they have Chinese police stations?
Yeah, in Canada, 3 of them. And that's
Really?
what they say it's for. Yeah, I think they have some in the States too, if I'm not mistaken.
Huh, not in my area.
No, yeah. But if they would, it would probably be in like Seattle or something. If I had to guess.
Oh, look at Bandit. What's wrong with camping? Every campground I've been has a washer, dryer, and shower. See, I've never been to a campground that had a washer and dryer like that. Like,
No?
no.
Oh wow. Where I lived on the
That's a good
boat,
idea, though.
yeah,
Yeah.
where I lived on the boat, I was at a marina, and I didn't know this. I knew they had a trailer park, but
Mm-hmm.
you would get a trailer for a lot cheaper if you also had a boat. And I wish I would have known that. I probably would have got a trailer, and I would still have it there. But they had showers and everything at that. It was like a campground as well. It was really nice. They had Wi-Fi and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so beautiful.
Mm.
But a lot of maintenance though on the boat.
Yeah. 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 My dad, his dream was to get a sailboat. I don't think he's gotten that yet. He's too busy taking care of my sister's kids. So.
Oh, okay. Oh, he's in Washington State as well.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of marinas out there too. Because when I was looking at boats, there was a whole bunch of them just across. And I'm not from here, so I'm not familiar with what's Canada, what's the United States. So
Mm-hmm.
I'd find a nice boat and I'd be like, "Hey, Dad, check this one out." He's like, "Yeah, it's in the States." You know,
Right. Right.
it's fine, but I mean, then there's all the taxes and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And when I was younger in Niagara Falls, we used to drive across to Buffalo, and it was way cheaper there. Like in the 80s and 90s, you would go there and go to the grocery store, and I think it was like 65 cents for the dollar back then, which it was almost double, right?
Yeah.
So, but then later on, when I got older, it would be because you had to be 21 to drink in the States, and you only had to be 19 over here. So they would come over to the Canadian side and get hammered drunk on our strong beer, right?
Right.
So they'd come across
Right.
from Buffalo, and they'd have twice as much money now, and it's like potent beer too. So
Mm. No, see, Marie's never been camping. Her mom's idea of camping was an RV. That's funny. No, that's called glamping. That's not camping.
what, the RV?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I like the
glamorous.
RV. I think I'm gonna do that when everything crashes, like the society. I got my bug out bag. I think I'm just gonna get an RV and I'll drive up to Chris Mitchell's, somewhere up where he lives, because he's
Yeah.
way out more in the country,
Yeah.
and I'll build a homestead somewhere.
Waifu revolution, huh? Yeah, Primo, are you going to change your avatar to some hulked out anime chick?
Oh, I didn't know why. Was that what we're doing?
That's what they're doing, apparently.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll do that. I'm down.
They're getting boobs, so hopefully they won't be canceled. So, apparently, if you have boobs, you can't be canceled.
Oh, really? Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. That makes sense.
No, honestly, I don't know why they're doing it. I know Grey Ghost uploaded a picture or a video about it.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I'm time for a new avatar anyway, so I'll do it.
That's funny.
And yeah, it won't hurt to have a different identify as the other thing on the picture anyways.
Yeah. Waifus.
Yeah. That was funny though. I gotta say, that one video that they did, the 21 Studios of that guy's body count, John Anthony. Man, whenever I see that guy, it just makes me laugh when he talks about why do you care so much?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's like 1,253, and people are like, why is it so high? Like, why do you care so much? Why do you care? And how do you have it right to the exact number?
I thought it was 1,450 something.
I'm not sure what the number is, but I just think it's hilarious. Why would you care about that? I've never heard anyone talk about that. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's part of the PUA culture, the the instant gratification, the short-term thinking, the quantity over quality type of thing.
Yeah, that's what it is. But if to live that life, you're never going to be saving money because,
right?
Yeah, you're never going to say because you're going to be going out and like, it doesn't equal productive,
14,000 in what? Wow, that sounds expensive. Yeah, because you got to think about it. They're spending a lot of time and money hunting for new tail, right? So
yeah, exactly. And even just to pay to get in the places and have one or two drinks, like you're looking at $50-$60 at least each place. Yeah, oh yeah, it all costs money.
Yeah.
The best thing I ever did was quit drinking alcohol. I haven't drank in like over 10 years now.
That's good. That's really good.
Mm-hmm. Actually, when I broke my foot, that's how I quit drinking alcohol.
That's good.
Because I noticed how much money I was saving, and I was like, "This is sweet." and I don't feel like crap in the morning. Nice.
Right. That's a bonus.
Yeah, and especially when you get older too. It lasts longer. I am hearing like bangs going off out here.
Yeah, when I was at the convention, there was one night where I drank like 3 different types of alcohol, and I can't remember the last. I mean, I want to say that probably the last time I did that specifically, I was a teenager,
Yeah.
and I felt like shit for. I mean, yesterday I finally started feeling like myself. I'm like, holy,
Wow.
and I didn't even drink that much. I think I had a bourbon, and then I had a vodka cranberry, and then I had another bourbon, and then I just had a Captain Morgan and Pepsi. That was
Oh
it.
wow. Wow. Yeah, the
Yeah.
vodka and cranberries are not bad.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I can't do bourbon though. That turns my stomach. I have a weak stomach when it comes to those alcohols like that.
Mm.
Like tequila. Oof.
No. Yeah, I can't do tequila.
No,
No.
no way. And then another thing, when we went out one night, there was a bunch of us, and we watched like an MMA fight or something, and everyone was drinking beer except me. And my bill was like $30, and we were there for like 6 hours. And everyone else's bill was like 160, 170. It's like,
Right.
wow. Yeah. Because
Right.
they'll give you free pop because they think you're the driver, right? Even though I wasn't driving.
Yeah.
But still, like, it's good that they do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody
I
has
think,
to.
yeah. But I started to not really like to hang around with people that are drinking anymore either, though. Like, I don't
Yeah.
like to go any place where people are all hammered, telling
Yeah.
everyone they love them and everything. Once the I love you start, I'm out of here.
That's funny.
It's true,
Yeah.
though, right?
Oh yeah, no, I know. Um I don't like being around a bunch of drunk people either.
No. But there are like a bunch of people. I believe that like 25 to 30% of people that drink are allergic to it. Like those would
Mm,
be the people that have one beer and they turn into a completely different person.
right.
I think so. Because I know
Hmm.
a bunch of people that can drink 3, 4 beers and you wouldn't even know. Like they're just a normal person. They're not angry. They're just, they're chill.
Right.
But at the same time,
So
I've also seen where they just flip.
so do you think they're allergic, or they're just are holding so much inside that it just comes out?
I think that people might be allergic to it. I think, or it could be like maybe they're on other medication too, and it's like
Mm.
maybe they shouldn't be drinking with the other medication, or maybe they don't even know that they shouldn't be drinking with the other medication, and it creates like
Well,
a science experiment.
they should know.
I know. But some people they think like I don't know, like they say that when people are on like bipolar medication, I think they say that they'll feel good and they'll stop taking it, and then they'll have like episodes because they didn't take their medication because they felt good, right?
Yeah. Huh.
But I don't know, and that's another one too. Like I know my mom has a friend that had bipolar, and he was on that lithium, I think, and it just destroyed his. I think his liver and his kidneys were done when he was like 60.
Jeez.
And he was on the dialysis machine, and it was all because of that medication.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, these medications are not good.
no, no, no. I've been saying that. Like, I don't think our bodies are meant to process that. Like, they're chemicals, right? Like, lithium is a mineral,
Right.
and they're all like they're just not meant for us. Fruits and vegetables, stuff like that, right? Exercise, eat healthy.
Right. Is this your only channel?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's my channel.
Why was I thinking you had? Okay, you got some stuff on here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I got a bunch of stuff. I got the dating app content where I like I got a guy that I know that I make little shorts from his stuff. You
Yeah.
should see how many of these girls like he's trying to get people to meet people. Like he has hope, but he knows that I don't.
Right.
But you should see how many of them have the smoke alarm going off in the background. It's crazy. At least 1 in every 10, there's a chirping
Yeah.
smoke alarm.
Yeah. I've heard that on some dudes too. And I'm like, I always think of Kevin Samuels. And I'm like,
Why? He used to make fun of it?
Oh, Kevin Samuels, yeah. I mean, he used to call it the women. He's like, see,
Yeah.
that's why you need a man around. And then if I hear one in like a man's background, I'm like,
Yeah, I know. Oh, it's frustrating. Like if I'm playing a game or something like that with the headset and I can hear it, I'll mute that player because I don't like
yeah,
that. Makes me crazy.
I know it's fucking annoying.
Oh, it's so annoying. And can you imagine someone that lives in that house? Like how long? It's probably been going off for 2-3 days, at least.
Right. And
Like
they act like they can't even hear it.
I know. Doesn't that bother you? That
Yeah.
would drive me crazy,
Yeah.
I guess it helps that I can reach it from the floor, so that makes it different for me. I don't need a chair.
No, I get a chair. I don't care. Well, when mine go off, because I have like, I don't know, 5 or 6 of them in the house. So one will randomly start chirping, and one of my dogs starts freaking out. She'll pace back and forth and she'll whine. I'm like, okay, I'll get it. Like it bothers her more than it bothers me, but it still bothers me.
Yeah, I don't like that sound. That is so annoying.
What is this here? Smoke detector's greatest hits.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what's going on? Ma'am, is that your smoke detector going off?
No.
Man,
And I'm not a laugh, right?
where's your man?
He's at work.
What's he do for work?
Why? We need a thanks.
Man. Hold on, I got a button for you. Oh, you got a smoke detector. How long has that been going off?
She's laughing. She even knows that it's going on for a long time.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Yeah, that would drive me so crazy. And there's so many of them like that. He has that content creator I met at the Freedom Convoy when he was doing like some stuff at I guess in Ottawa. But he's done some protests where there's like pro-life. They're having like there was a pro-life protest that he was at. I've never seen one of those before. Like people were pro-life and they were out there with signs, which that's good. Yeah. I think it was at a school in Toronto somewhere.
Right.
But yeah.
I don't know if they even know what a 9-volt battery is. I always tell people, like women, that to test it, like stick it on your tongue to make sure it still has juice.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Another thing too is the jumper cables in the car. Like you wouldn't believe how many women don't have cables in the car. And I'm like, you have to have cables.
Yeah.
Because if you're stuck on the side of the road and you need a boost, you don't want to rely on somebody else to have cables, right? You'll be lucky if someone stops.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like I remember being at the drive-in, and at least every time I'd be there, there'd be 2 or 3 people that would need a boost at the end. And it would usually be a female. And she would say, "Oh, do you know how to hook these up?" Yeah. Yeah, I do. Because I've seen them hook it up to the wrong side and they blow up both cars, You can't make a mistake when you're hooking up the batteries. You got to make sure that, positive to positive, negative to negative. Very important.
Yeah, it's not that hard.
Yeah, I know.
It's very easy.
For us, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Stuff somebody's dad didn't teach them, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. And even like changing a tire. I remember my uncle showed me how to change a tire, like how you have to do it before you lift it up. If you jack it up, you'll be struggling, And he made me struggle,
Yeah.
He made me do it and, and then, take it down and now do it, right?
Yeah, loosen them up. Yeah.
I was like, why couldn't you just have done that the first time? He says,
Right.
because then you're not going to remember. Now you're going to remember, right? Because
Right.
you hurt yourself.
And that's true. And that's so
It
true,
is.
right?
It
Yeah.
is true. And that's what I was saying about living on the boat, you know? Like there was so many times that maybe weren't the greatest. Probably more were not good than were good. But the good times were so worth it because you won't appreciate it unless you have those crappy times, right?
Right. Yeah.
If everything was good, you wouldn't even know what good is because it would just be normal now, right?
Yeah.
And then you would have to make it so much better to be good.
Right. See, that's what I see a lot of these unhappy people, like that seem to have a lot of stuff and seem to like do a lot of the, all this instant gratification shit. It's like I just see them as spoiled and they're always
Yeah.
looking for the next high, and it's like they're never going to be happy because they've always had it good. They haven't
Yeah.
really suffered or been through anything really.
Yeah, exactly. And like you were saying with RJ the other day, like I'm not happy. Like is that a 4-year-old that says that, right?
Yeah.
I'm not happy.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
a relationship is about, goals and building things and not about being happy by
Yeah.
yourself, and don't worry about the other person.
Yeah. What do you think
it's
of
crazy.
RJ?
Pardon me?
What did you think of RJ?
Oh, I liked him. Yeah, he was good.
Yeah.
He's intelligent.
Yeah. Yeah, he's gonna stir up some shit.
Nice.
I mean, he has been. He has been since the event. He's been contacting lots of right-wing feminists and discussing the Crazy Bitch Boot Camp.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah,
Wait.
he wants to. He's triggering a lot of people currently. So lots and lots and lots of triggering.
He ran for politics, right?
He did.
For
Yeah.
mayor. So I know, like I believe that, like if they don't want you to get in, if you're not going to play their game, they don't want you to get in there,
Right.
And that's the problem. All the people that are in there are the yes people now,
Right.
And they made it even worse by when they brought in all these mandates and saying, oh, you can't keep your job if you don't do these certain things, right? Because that got rid of all the critical thinkers now,
Yeah.
But
yeah.
It blows my mind that people can't see this. Like I would explain this to my mother, and my mother, like my grandparents were in Holland in the World War II, right? So they were very active in the war. I say, Ma, you see that people now are of the just following orders mindset, right?
Yep.
When did we hear that before, right? When was that a problem?
Right. Yeah, just comply.
Yeah, exactly. We don't want the I was just following orders mentality. We don't want those people, Yeah, it's not good. It is not good. But I think that we need people like that in there, though. I think we need people like RJ in politics. People that are based on morals.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I always said that about Donald Trump. Like I don't know if I like him or not as a person, but what I do like about him is he has his own money. That's what I like about him. He has his own money. He's not for sale. Maybe he is, but he's definitely less for sale than the other guy is.
Less for sale. Yeah.
100% he is.
Well, and he donated his entire pay the entire time he was in office. Like he didn't want that money. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. He donated each one of his checks. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. As far as presidents since I've been alive, he's definitely done the best job out of all of them. Like George Bush and Bill Clinton. Trump was definitely the most productive. But just because so many of the people, not so many, but half of them anyways, hate him so much just because of who he is. Yeah.
The feminists. Yeah. All the feminists. Yeah.
Because they can't control him, right? Do you think that's why? I think so, yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
But you want someone you can't control. You want that guy because then you make a deal with him. He's going to give you his word, and his word is his bond. That's what kind of person they are,
Right. Right.
The other people, their word is not their bond. You know, they will say one thing and do the opposite. You know.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Marie has huh, Marie came up last night. She didn't have a chance to. I was going to ask her about her brother-in-law, but she has a story.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Do you mind if she comes up, if she's
Yeah, yeah,
available to
absolutely,
join us?
absolutely. Yeah, yeah, sure, sure, absolutely.
Marie, did
Bring
you
her
want
up.
to come
Yeah,
up?
I'm done.
Good. Then I don't have to leave you alone while I go pee. There we go. Yeah. This could be a warning to all these, passport bros that think that they can go to another country and bring a wife here, and hoping it works out. Because this is a really
Yeah, I
there's
don't think that would be a good idea.
and there's hello Marie.
Hey, sorry, every single time you say hi, I start yawning.
Hey, Marie.
Hello, how are you?
Not too bad. How you doing?
I'm alright. Life is life right now.
Yeah,
Yeah, I hear you.
yeah. You feeling better today?
Still in pain, but
Yeah.
I had to take some more pain meds again, so.
Ooh, so you'll be loopy in about an hour.
Yeah, but it'll be better by next week, so.
Yeah, yeah. So this warning to people who think they want to get wives from other countries. Let's hear it.
Yeah, let's see, I'll try not to say, I'm trying to make sure I just don't say their names, but,
Yeah. And
my,
I'll be right back too. I can still hear though.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, just always hearing about, the gentlemen that always talk about, well, let me go to other countries, then I'll find a wife over there. My husband's younger brother, my brother-in-law, he was actually stationed overseas in an Asian country and
Oh,
found what he thought was, his Asian wife, that would be a traditional and everything else.
mm.
We did try to convince them to slow it down because he was only stationed there for a year, and they got married right before he left in PCS back to the States. And they didn't slow it down. They just kind of kept going forward. They never talked about, then again, no, they never talked about anything important regarding for marriage. So they didn't talk about children, religion, finances, um, roles that they expect each other to, to fit into. Nothing.
They didn't talk about any of that.
Nothing at all.
Oh,
And so, and then he never learned her native language either. So she spoke English, but he never learned her actual language.
oh,
And so of course, that right there is kind of a big thing too, because when you do get married, especially if your spouse comes from another culture, you should try to engage in that culture, to build
yeah,
a stronger bond. He
yeah,
didn't.
for sure.
Yeah, he didn't. He's a younger man. He's younger than my husband by about 10 years. And anyways, though, they moved here, PCS here with the military. And about a year after, she ended up getting pregnant. He got deployed. He came back and everything just flipped. It was no longer like he was essentially just pushed aside and he was now simply the paycheck. It was just her and the baby. And that's all that mattered. And it just became this nightmare for him. And again, it does take two to tango and everything else. And he had his issues as well. But overall, though, she just, anybody, nobody could have a relationship with my niece.
Oh, wow.
Nobody, I couldn't even comfort her. If her mother walked out of the room, she would have like a screaming fit. I I actually kind of snapped at my sister-in-law because they were over at our house and my niece broke something of mine. And instead of scolding her child, she grabbed her, picked her up, started coddling her, and just walked out of the room. And my brother-in-law sat there trying to fix it. So it just became this big tangled mess. He's been the main provider for their family, their entire marriage. And then sadly this year, he just told everybody that she just became even more passive aggressive towards him. He never could build a relationship with his daughter. She just would not allow it. Like he's never actually watched his daughter by himself.
Wow.
Yeah, like there was a time I remember she put her down for a nap and I was trying to take her out, just to kind of let him be home with his daughter. She was napping and my sister-in-law actually went upstairs, woke her daughter up from the nap, said, nope, she's coming with us, and then put her in the car seat and walked out of the house. And essentially now my sister-in-law, she pretty much told him, I want full custody. I'm not going to take any alimony or child support, but I'm going back to my home country, and that's that. And my poor brother-in-law, I think he just wanted peace in his life, and he just kind of let everything go. So now he's looking at possibly seeing his child once a year, if that. And that's only if he goes to the other country. She will not bring her back here. So even though the child is an American citizen,
Right.
she took her.
Wow.
And
I'm always afraid of that 180, that flip, like you said, when he came back and she was completely different,
Yeah. And we all tried, and she did suffer from postpartum depression. I'm not excusing that behavior. But we all tried to get her the assistance because, postpartum depression does happen. But her behavior, though, was so beyond what postpartum, I've had women in my family who suffered from postpartum depression, and she just went beyond anything any of us have ever seen before. And we tried to get her help. We tried to, she was so obsessed with their child to the point of she was missing milestones because she wouldn't let her daughter walk. She wasn't teaching her how to talk. She would only make sounds and not actually words towards her. And I kind of knew their marriage was doomed when she kind of opened up. She's opened up very. It was kind of a shock because it just kind of came out of nowhere towards me. She was just like, I really don't want to have sex with him anymore. I have the baby. But I'll do it because he wants to, but I don't want to anymore. So what do you think I should do? And I'm like, I think you should go to marriage counseling.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Go to a psychologist and then maybe marriage counseling. Because what's wrong with you?
But this is sadly what a lot of what I've always being around the MGTOW channels now since 2019. You've always heard about the gentlemen where they're always saying, well, let me go overseas for this.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, it's sad to say, and but it's true, is that woman can do the 180 on you. And it doesn't matter what culture she comes from. It doesn't matter anything. That can happen. And sadly, especially if she's from another culture and she decides to take your children away from you. And I've heard and with my husband when my husband was military, I heard so many guys where they're like, I just want peace. I don't care where that comes from. I just want peace. And they'll kind of just allow the wife to steamroll them and just go over, and as long as it brings them some peace at the end, they don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
I've seen that happen quite a bit, I think, with a lot of the relationships. I think that where a lot of my uncles will just do that with just say basically, I'll go to work and you take care of everything else. And it doesn't end well, You have to have some say in it. You can't just give the other person complete say and then, I don't know. It's hard because then when it happens badly, I don't know, because they didn't really discuss anything, right? Like
Mm-mm.
my
Nothing.
uncle, the main uncle, it's the same type of thing as what you were saying, where they don't really discuss what roles they're gonna play, and then when she does that 180, it's like, because you're not expecting it, you just assume that everything's going the right way because it seems to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then,
Yeah, in fact, when he was deployed, they were actually talking about having a second baby when he got back. So, but when he actually got back, I tried talking to him, letting him know, like, hey, her behavior, maybe it's just, being away from you for 10 months. She had a baby and he deployed like 3 weeks later. And so, just all of that, and then postpartum depression, like we tried telling him, like, things are a little off. Maybe you should get her some assistance. We've tried. She's refused all of our help, not just mine that I've offered, but my own mother even offered, because my parents met her and everything. My in-laws offered to help. Even our sister, or my husband's sister, our sister-in-law, she offered to help because, she went through postpartum depression. And everything was just cut off, everybody.
wow.
And it's sad. I'll never I honestly, I'll probably never see my niece again, and I'll be shocked if my brother-in-law gets to see his daughter more than once a year, if that. And again, that's only if
Wow.
he travels to see her.
Did they get married over here, or did they get married where they were, like where he was deployed?
Yeah, they got married in her country.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but she did become a U.S. citizen.
Oh,
So
okay.
they'll be revoking that when she's fully back in.
Oh, they revoked that after divorce?
I think she, from my understanding, I think she will be.
The daughter will be.
The
US
daughter will be,
citizen.
yeah. The daughter will
Yeah.
stay on.
Mhm.
Unless he has to, I think he has to actually like sign off on that. I don't think he has. But the sad part is he doesn't have much of a relationship with her. And then when he has tried to build a relationship, when we lived near each other, I remember she was getting agitated. And I asked her, I was like, well, why are you getting upset with him for spending time, like the daughter wanting to go to her dad?
Right.
And she's like, well, it's my daughter. And I was like, no. I said, it's both of your daughters. Like, you didn't have her by yourself. It's
Right.
that's his daughter too. And I was like, and you should be encouraging a father-daughter relationship. Like, that's literally the
Daughters need their dads.
dad. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine my life without my father. Like, my dad was literally the one that, he taught me, of course my mother, she taught me a bunch of stuff too, but my father was the one I followed around. He was the one that, taught me, like, how is a man supposed to treat me? That was my father,
Yeah.
not my mom. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's really difficult for especially a daughter to grow up without a father.
mm-hmm. Yeah, and she, my ex-sister-in-law, she did come from a broken home too. Her parents did end up getting a divorce, and she has a very bad relationship with her father.
Mhm.
So again, we all tried to slow it down,
Yeah.
but there's some people, they're just not going to listen.
See, maybe it's because you were too nice, Marie. Maybe she needed some boot camp Mandy in her life.
No, no, and it wasn't just me, it was my in-laws as well.
Yeah.
And my husband, my husband's talked to his brother, he pretty much told him, he goes, don't be an idiot. He goes, make sure she's not crazy, like, do your due diligence. And my brother-in-law is just like, look, I'm PCSing. I don't want to leave her behind. So she's going to come with me. And that's the only way to do that is if we get married. So
She was already crazy.
yeah, well, and I hate to say this, but
Yeah.
based off of like, like looking back at or listening or thinking back to conversations that we've had, she was really obsessed with having a mixed baby of half Asian, half white. And so because I don't want to go into too much detail, she was obsessed with like a mixed babies.
Oh, wait. Gray was talking about. Hold on. Gray spent some time in Japan, and it's like, how did he put it? Something like they thought he was like a not idolizing, but like he was not a superstar.
Like a model.
They held him because he's white to this almost like a, what are these people that we have in the media?
Oligarch.
No, not oligarch. like what the groupies follow.
Rockstar.
Not kinda.
Like groupies.
No, but they kind of held him up to this kind of on this
Idolized. Pedestal, yeah.
kind of idolized, but yeah.
Yeah,
I wonder if it's something like that, like a clout thing.
yeah,
Like a mixed baby. Like I have a mixed baby. That's gross.
yeah. No, my I remember when he first started telling us about her and her side of the family. He would call us. He'd be laughing, and he'd be like, "Yeah, her family's telling me I am a model. I look like a model," and then they were buying him expensive clothing. And I mean, like literally the first time he met the mother, she bought him like this $200-300 jacket, like just brought it to him.
Wow.
And, yeah, and they always would tell him like, oh, you look like a model. You're tall, light brown hair. You got hazel eyes. You're definitely like a model.
It sounds like they wanted the mixed baby too.
Possibly, and I hate to say that, but
yeah.
It just became like an obsession, especially when she was. Sorry, there's my dog.
Yeah.
Like when she was pregnant, she was sending me just pictures of mixed Asian and white babies, and I was like, it's really just. I was like, genetics are genetics. I was like, she's gonna come out looking however.
That's like a fetish, though.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So, but he seems to be doing okay. But I guess he doesn't live. He only lives about 4.5, 5 hours from us. So, once I'm all healed up, we're probably gonna go up there and maybe or have him come down here and spend some time with us. And because it's different, when you go from a house and then with a child and then it's silent. So. But that's sadly his story, and sadly being around the military, you heard that all the time, and it's not even just with wives from other countries. Of course, it's U.S. women too.
Yeah.
Just them going crazy and taking the kids, and the guys either losing it and sadly, committing suicide, or just going into deep depression and kind of just trying to find some peace in life.
Yeah. Yeah, they get that Dear John letter, right? Or John, yeah, Dear John.
Yeah, the Dear John, yeah.
Hermit and JR are gonna go on a country tour and give them all the babies they want.
No.
The burrito heat.
Yeah.
Latino heat. That's funny.
But yeah, I remember I'll share a video with you, Mandy.
Yeah.
Video I have of her. She's just a sweet little thing, and it's just I grew up with a close knit family, and the fact that you're kind of prevented from being not, kind of sucks. It really sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I feel bad for her. She's gonna need her dad, man.
Oh yeah. And we're trying to convince him to get a. My in-laws found an international lawyer that deals with international custody.
Mm-hmm.
And so they gave him all the information, And they're like, it has to be him who has to make the call and figure out what he wants. But I think at this point, I think he just wants peace right now. Because I guess he just said it's been really, really bad the last like 6 months or so. So.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah. Because that 180 degrees really hits you by surprise too. You think everything's going good, and then all of a sudden,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And she was. I remember she would come to me with their marital problems. I'm like, well, have you talked to your husband?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's the first one you should talk to.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. I just speaking from experience, maybe your husband's the one you should. And I tried to help her out. Like I said, like she'd even go, like she'd talk to my mom occasionally. Her and my mother-in-law didn't have a very good relationship.
Right.
It didn't work too well with them. But she tried to even talk to my mom. My mom and my dad had been together for like 44 years. So, my mom tried telling her, like, marriage is hard, and when you add in different cultures and different backgrounds, she goes, you just have to work. You have to work even harder to make it work. She goes, but it doesn't mean it's not impossible. You just have to want it. But
Fucking Saunders. Oh man,
he knows all the crazy dependas.
Right.
It's true though. Like probably 50% of the girls that I've ever been with were Indian girls, and it's like because there's a different culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I would always joke with them and say, "I'm only here for the dowry, anyways." But they were traditional, and they were kind of traditional, and they would say that they are, and I say, well, the fact that you're with me, you're not traditional. Right?
Right.
Yeah, because most of them would be disowned by their families for marrying non-Indian men.
Yeah.
It's I mean it's hard, and like I said, I've been in the MGTOW community since 2019, and I've heard quite a few horror stories, and even witnessed some things from family members, because I have another brother-in-law who's also going through a horrible divorce, where his wife of almost 20 years cheated on him, left for 6 weeks, literally just disappeared, left the kids with him, and then came back. And he found out she came back because she was literally back inside the house and said, I'm moving into the basement until we divorce. And then that was it. And so she's literally living in the basement, and he cannot kick her out of the house. And yeah, so we have another brother-in-law that's going through that. And
wow.
They've been together over 20 years, and she just went psycho one day.
Wow.
See, and I blame our society for this shit. Like,
yeah.
Who is she hanging out with? Who is she spending her time with? What is she spending her time doing? Is she glued to MSNBC? And because I had clients that I fucking watched decline over, like, up. It was because I never fucking paid attention to politics.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't give a shit. Because I'm like, I'm a chick. I don't vote anyway. Women don't belong in politics. The dudes will sort it out, right? Yeah. So I had clients that up until there was a few that started really declining after they found out Trump won. Like they started going nuts.
Yeah.
And then their mental health started declining over time. And then when this whole fucking coronavirus shit happened, like I have a client, and I still see her, and I love her dearly. She's a grandma. She's a retired university professor, but she has a son that apparently the military will pay for transitioning, because a couple of years ago he got married and he wore a dress. So she had 6 kids. She got divorced. She raised her 6 kids, and then she has grandbabies. She's from Canada. her sister is a epidemiologist or something up in Canada. But like she was wearing the mask for a while, and then she took it off, and then she wore it again. And one time when she came into the salon, she was just stressed out, freaked out. I mean, this usually is a really chill lady. But all this politics shit was driving her nuts. And all this coronavirus shit, the fear mongering was
The
driving her
daytime
nuts.
television too, probably, right? Yeah.
But she even said, because she was talking about what this was during the time when people are like, oh, children are dying because of the unvaccinated and this and that. And she was talking about how, people are refusing the vaccine. And I was like, why do you care? Like, if somebody wants to, not get vaccinated and dies from the virus, like, why do you care? She's like, oh, I don't care. I hope they all die. It's the children, though, that they're killing, that they're infecting. I was like, she just said, I hope they all die. I was like,
Wow.
I hadn't got, because we had 4 times before that the same conversation when she asked me if I was going to get the shot. I'm like, no, I don't need it. I was like, okay,
so she knows that you...
no. And I was just like, well, that would suck because you'd need to find a new hairstylist. And then she just kind of stopped, and then she just kind of sat down, and she's just like, yeah. And I mean, but she was so wound up because of the shit she was consuming.
Yeah.
Like,
or they say,
I know she didn't mean it, like, really.
Yeah. But that's what they hear, right? And that's how they've been pumped up, like to hate those people,
Yeah.
Or they'll say, oh, the unvaccinated are putting the vaccinated at risk. Like, do you hear what you just said? That doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't make sense at all.
No.
Because you get the women, though, that, I mean, women, we are, I think we're probably more social overall than men.
Yeah.
We like getting into our little groups, and all it takes is just that one little, festering of ideas, and just spreading. Like typically, like if you see one woman's having issues in her relationship, all of a sudden it'll start spreading into the other ones, and that's how come it's vital for women, I think, especially. Where when we choose our relationships, the people out, away from our husband, like all the women that we choose to be friends with, we need to ensure that, like one of the things that I always look for is, are they going to correct me? I'm comfortable being corrected. If I'm in the wrong, I'm comfortable being corrected. I'm not someone who's brave enough to do so. And if they're not, then they're not going to be, for one, they're not going to be good friendship. It's not going to be a good friendship.
Right.
And then also, too, someone that will, like, for instance, I have 2 friends. They're both married as well. And, we'll come to each other occasionally and be like, oh, my husband said this, this, and this. And they'll straight up tell me, like, Marie, I think you should actually be the one apologizing to your husband, not the other way around. Like, you need to chill. And I do the same to them. And to me, that's the type of friendship. And I've like, especially like when my husband was active duty, I would actually casually bring over some army wives, and my husband could tell within just a few minutes of meeting her or meeting one of the wives, he'd be like, "Nah, she crazy."
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry. That one's a crazy bitch. Yeah. Nope.
And sure enough, he was, and I'm going to give my husband some applause here. He was 100% right every single time.
Right.
And, and that really helped me because, it really guided me towards, people that were actually going to make me a better person. And then also,
positive people.
Yeah. And also the people that respected my marriage and wanted to ensure, like, because they were married, they wanted to ensure that not only was their marriage healthy, but the people they were around, that their marriages were healthy too.
Yeah.
And that's I've noticed that a lot of women, they like we talked about yesterday, Mandy, women are very easily shamed, and we're very easily shamed into even the worst part of our nature. And as long as we're, appeasing someone that we want
Right.
to appease, then that's what we're going to follow. And
Yeah.
so we need that guidance and that leadership to to step out of that aspect.
Yeah. Well, and that's it. I mean, I know you like to come from a like that's what I love about you. You're like the Catholic sector of the Crazy Bitch Boot Camp, where you have all the scripture and all the stuff that
I'm no theologian.
was tradition, like a tradition, and you were, I mean, that's kind of your realm. I come from kind of the biology aspect and in the sciences, and that's also true. Like our nature requires nurture, and our environment is an important fucking part of that. And if we surround ourselves with people that are fuck ups, then we're gonna be fuck ups, right? That's like I always check in with Marie. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be hanging out and dealing with a lot of crazy bitches this week. Like, if I look infected, let me know. Like, let me know if you see any crazy bitch or if I got any on me, or because that's what's important, to have somebody to check in with, man.
It is, and you need that. And I remember, like, you and I, we gave each other the side eye for quite some time.
Oh yeah, I'm like,
over here.
Yeah. Well, because I was trying to get all the crazy bitches out of the MGTOW space, because I'm like, I see these crazy bitches causing problems. They need to go. Like, these men are going their own way for a fucking reason. Why are these women over here tormenting them and causing more problems?
I was just throwing in the chat.
I know. Well, when I saw Marie, I was like, hey, what are you doing? And she was talking about a book and this and that, because just asking her a couple questions, and she didn't give off any crazy bitch vibes. So I invited her over for a conversation, and like an adult woman, she actually came over for a conversation.
Nice.
Because she didn't have anything to hide. She wasn't there for ill intent. She was actually there for good reasons. So
yeah.
Well,
I don't think I told you this too. I asked my husband, I was like, what do you think? And he listened to a couple of your streams, and he's like, well, she seems okay. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's listened to you a little bit, just to kind of see. And then he told me, he's like, just if she starts talking a little crazy, he goes, just step away.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I talk about you with him, and different streams or what you've discussed or whatever. Even some of the guys' streams, I'll bring up the topics, and
Well, I feel like we all kind of come from different areas and are good for different things, and I don't think, and not all women are as comfortable in their own skin and their beliefs as you are, Marie. So when I say things like crazy bitch, that keeps the crazy bitches away, like, it doesn't offend you because you're not one.
Yeah.
The only time, I mean, usually when people take offense to something, it's my mom always taught me, she goes, usually when people take offense to something, it's because they subconsciously realize that's what they are.
Yeah, because you hit them right in the truth. That's why.
Yeah. I think it's consciously. I don't think it's subconscious. I think they know it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they know it. Yeah.
To that.
Yeah.
But
they're in denial. That's why.
Yeah, well, it goes back to the accountability thing too, though. I think for a lot of women, they realize what they are doing, but we are not, and I say we just as a general in society, women are not taught accountability. Like, we can do things that if men did them, people would, I mean, literally destroy the man. But for women, people don't even blink an eye on.
Right.
Right. And no, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say, I always would want to admit if I made a mistake, because everyone makes a mistake, like at work, whatever. And I would always say that to people, if I made a mistake, I'll just own up to it, But there's people that won't. There's guys that won't too, and they'll try to blame other people or whatever. And it's like, just admit it, man. You did it, Everyone knows you did it, right?
Yeah.
Like, some people will take on jobs that they don't even know what to do. They don't know how to put the pipe together, but they'll say they do. And
Right.
then later on, like we had these Victaulic couplings and you had to put them together a certain way. And this guy didn't know how to do it and he didn't ask. And at the end of the day, he asked, he's like, why is there grooves on that pipe? And as soon as he left, I was like, you better go check all those joints because he didn't put it together right. If he doesn't know why the pipe has a groove in it, he didn't put the couplings together right. Because you know why it fits together like that. It has the grooves in it just so it fits together that way, you know? If he
Right.
doesn't understand why it's like that, he didn't put it together right.
Right.
You know?
Right. Right.
So, but you asked first. If I didn't, I wouldn't wait till the end of the day and ask that question. I would ask right away, you know? Right?
Mm-hmm.
And people just, they don't want to be they see any type of help as, you know, a slight against them, like they can't do something, whether that be within a job or even like helping like with their character. It's considered a slight against them instead of seeing it as, well, you know, this opportunity I can learn something.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And become better.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah. I noticed those kind of people already think they're the best, though. Like,
And they'll hate on you if they think you have something better that they don't have. They'll hate you for it, you know?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to if you have something like if you have a Mustang and I always wanted a Mustang, I'm going to find out how you got it and then I'm going to try to get one too, you know? But I'm not going to hate you for it. I'll be happy for you for it, you know?
Yeah.
Because why would I be upset about that, you know?
Right. For what somebody else has achieved.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's
that
something
never
that I
made
always
any
wanted. Yeah, I always wanted one. You have one. We have something in common. We like the same car or whatever, you know? We can hang out together, you know?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The girlfriend I told you about when I broke my foot, she was a diehard Pearl Jam fan. She went to see Pearl Jam 8 times in a row, right?
Jeez.
8 concerts in a row all over Europe. And there was some other girl that also did that. And she saw her, they knew of each other. And I said to her, you should be friends with her. You guys could go see 16 concerts because now you can and she said, I don't talk to, they hated each other just because they both were Pearl Jam fans. It did not make sense to me. I'm like, why would you hate each other? You should be best friends. That would be my best friend if I was you.
Right.
Like, this is backwards.
Yeah. Well, what's that phrase? Women understand women and we don't like each other. So.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Like I saw this little video clip of actually your story though reminded me of it, where a guy, he said that he didn't know how to properly mount a TV to a wall, and so he actually found a guy in his local area, and the guy, instead of doing it for him, he taught him how to mount the TV to the wall, and so now they were able to start working together and teaching each other how to do things that the other one didn't know how to do.
Nice.
And it's like in with women, that would be very, very difficult to find that kind of behavior.
Yeah.
It's like your grandmother, trying to teach you something, or your mother.
But they should be promoting that type of behavior, though. I believe they should, but they don't want to, right?
But I wonder why that's the case. I mean, it's definitely not the case for all people. Like, I have so many women in my life that I respect and I care about and I get along with. Mm-hmm. But I feel like in that scenario, it's like there's an exchange going on. It's not just one-sided, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well, someone said something to me and it made a lot of sense. And he said, there's only 2 reasons why any people come together, any relationship. You have something in common, or there's an exchange or something, right? And or somebody wants something, which is totally fine, There's nothing wrong with that. But I think they try to make people think that there is, like, oh, you shouldn't be getting something. Like, why not? Everybody's getting something.
Right. Ideally, you both would be getting something out of it. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's not imbalanced. Like,
Yeah.
right, Marie? Like, is that weird?
No, I agree with Primo. Like it's there's always some type of exchange in every relationship. I think I mean, I can only look at my own experience with women. I remember I had one army wife. She didn't know how to clean, and so her husband was complaining at work at how dirty their home was. And my husband came home and mentioned it to me. And since I knew the wife, I reached out to her and, just start up a conversation and just, casually just started, um, you know, uh, I mentioned like, hey, do you want to hang out? Do you mind if I came over? And she's like, well, my house is really dirty. And she goes, I'm not very good at keeping it clean. And I was like, well, were you ever taught? Because I knew she was raised only by a single dad. And she's like, no, not really. And I was like, well, do you want me to come over and I can teach you how to clean? And so we did. We literally spent the entire day cleaning her downstairs. And I thought, I thought we were becoming friends. We hung out multiple times for a couple months after that. And then she ended up just like cold turkey dropping me and then told me that the reason why is she thought I was too assertive and she couldn't handle being around someone with my personality. And it was just like this random shock. I'm like, I thought we were like becoming friends. Like I was helping you. I didn't really understand what her deal was. But that was her response instead of, just accepting help. I thought I was being friendly about it, but
Wow. Yeah, that's difficult because you would think that, like if I were in that situation, I wouldn't go about it that way. I would maybe say, well, whatever, usually you say something to somebody first, right? I would think, anyways, right?
Mhm.
Like if there was something that I didn't like about you or you didn't like about me, if you're
Yeah.
helping me, especially, if I'm helping you, you're helping me, whatever, we're working together. If there's something that, if I smoke cigarettes, you don't like cigarettes, you say, hey, do you mind not smoking a cigarette? And I'm like, yeah, no problem. I'll just smoke it later, no big deal. And nobody's upset or anything, right?
Mhm.
Everyone's respectful and everything. But I don't know. I do know that sometimes people will do that. And yeah, I don't know why.
I don't either. It's I'm at a loss for words as to why people do that. Um, I've never really again it's I'm speaking of a general rule. There's always going to be people that don't fit into that, but typically with the men in my life, like my brothers or cousins or things like that, I've never had that issue. Or like my brother-in-laws, but for a lot of the women though, I've seemed to get a lot of pushback. And again, it depends on the woman as well. But as a general rule, it seemed that, like for instance, like I was taught, I was teaching my brother like how to cook. Like my mom and my sister and I were teaching him how to cook.
Mm.
And but like I tried teaching another army wife that she got very defensive and angry about it instead of just accepting, like, because she said she didn't know how to cook and I offered and she accepted the offer. But then
Mm.
during the process, she became, rude about it.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
so I don't
I
understand. People are, people suck sometimes.
Yeah, I think that people like recently, especially the last couple of years, people have really lost the ability to interact with one another, and
Mhm.
people have just become like, I don't know, really different, really different. And like some people just, they think they can treat people badly just because they want to. And I don't even know why you would want to. Why would you want to treat people badly for no reason?
I think social media plays a big role into that.
I think so too.
You get to hide behind the keyboard and you get to say whatever you want to say without overall face to face repercussions. You no
Yeah,
longer see the human behind it, where
yeah,
when we do interact, you know, you do see the facial expressions, you do read the body language, and there's a human, you know, facing you. And I think
Yeah.
that the computer, people are losing that connection with each other. So
Hmm. I agree. And
yeah,
I
and
think it has really hurt relationships too. Like for any type of dating or anything, like it has really gotten significantly worse in the last 10 years.
oh yeah, absolutely. Um, I've been married 13 years, so I've been out of the dating market for quite some
Oh,
time.
wow.
But,
Wow.
but
Yeah,
I,
good for you. Congratulations.
you know, we're
That's
about to
good.
celebrate 14 years in about 2 months.
Oh,
Um,
nice. Beautiful.
but
Beautiful.
yeah, I've noticed though, like for people though that, you know, that I've spoken to that are still in the dating market, or if they've gotten a divorce and trying to get back into it, you know, they said the exact same thing. They're like, there's no connection whatsoever. It's I'm
Yeah.
gonna play on my phone, you're gonna play on your phone, but we'll go on a date together, but we'll play on each other, we'll play on our own phones at the dinner table. Um,
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, like really? Um, yeah, but I think what was it? I think was it Mandy who had the stream up where it was talking about, I guess by 2030,
Yeah.
over 50% of women are going to be single and childless.
Wow.
That
That's
doesn't,
not good.
yeah.
My family members that are single and childless are 100% on antidepressants. Every one of them, guaranteed. And they're not pleasant to be around.
Mm-mm. No.
And the
And
crazy thing is, they'll make up excuses, like other ridiculous excuses for why they feel that way. And it's like, I don't know.
yeah, yeah, there has been a rise in you know, what we see now is like mental illness,
Hmm.
um, various types of medications, especially depression. Um, and I think if I remember the statistics correctly, there's been obviously a rise in suicide um,
Yeah.
as well. And I think suicide, the rise is with men, and then
I
for
think it's both, actually. I think women is actually going up a little bit now, too.
oh, okay, yeah, I think the last time I looked at the stats was probably about 8 months to maybe a year ago for the suicides.
Oh, wow.
Um, but I do know that for mental illness and depression, that of course is obviously going up
Hmm.
significantly as well.
Yeah.
So, and it's just creating this horrible society and everything that we're dealing with. And they can't deal with people, they can't deal with themselves, and it's just trauma all around.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And people are like, I see it sometimes when I go out, like some people are just ready to snap, and if anyone looks at them funny, they're like, oh, yelling at them and stuff. Like I've seen people more often in the last year being like that. Just
Hmm.
like weird things happening, people being rude to each other for no reason. Not
Yeah,
necessarily to me, but like just to other people from what I see, when I'm out.
yeah. Didn't you say though, like you only go to the grocery store now in the early mornings?
Early morning, yeah, yeah, yeah. Very early in the morning, yeah. Because
I
it's
mean,
always like the nicer people, I find anyway.
yeah, they typically are too. I try to go in the early mornings as well. And like my husband, just because of the area we moved to, like he's even told me, he's like, please don't wear your wedding rings out. He's like, people are, he goes, you're small. He's like,
Uh,
you can easily be taken over. And he's like, I have a fake, like a faux wedding ring that I can wear that's, it's super cheap. And I'll pop that on my finger. But like for like my actual wedding ring, he's asked me, like, he goes, please don't wear that out. Like if I'm not with you, he's like, just, he goes, just keep, obviously look around, be aware of your
yeah,
family,
yeah,
but just
yeah,
go
yeah.
to the store and just walk, get your stuff and get out.
Yeah,
Um,
I tell my mom that too, because my mom lives like where she lives, it's really getting rough. There's 10 cities around and everything. And I told her, like, you have to watch. It's not like it was 10 years ago. Like, you have to watch. People will just attack random people, and you too, you're an old lady, they'll attack you. They will.
yeah. Yep, they will. Like there was gosh, what was it? Maybe about 4 months ago. This dude was just walking into the store and somebody just came up behind him and just started stabbing him. They had no connection, nothing. This guy just started stabbing him.
Wow.
And like the guy had, there was, obviously, even if he had a concealed carry, like there was no reaction time.
Yeah.
He's
Because
opening
you're
the
not
door.
expecting it,
Yeah.
You're just living life, doing your thing. You're not expecting to have to fight somebody with a knife.
Yeah. Yep.
But that's
And
what scares me because then people might actually be proactive instead of reactive. And then other people will start doing that and say, well, I'm not going to wait till they stab me. And like,
Mhm.
well, maybe they weren't going to stab you. And
Yep.
then that stuff's going to happen, right?
Yep. Yeah. Like, it's if the world's just getting scarier and crazier. And
Oh, yeah.
I keep telling my husband, I'm like, can we move to like smaller and smaller populations, please? Like,
Yeah,
I live
exactly.
in California, so you're around a couple 100,000 people, not too
Yeah.
far from LA, so there you got a couple, easily 1 million. And
Yeah.
so I'm like, I would like 25,000, maybe even less.
Exactly. Exactly.
Small
I'd
little
like
like
to go live out in the woods, actually. I'd like to buy like an RV and just go move out into the woods for a couple years.
I don't know if I could do that. I won't lie.
No?
No, I don't think I could. I mean, like I like my husband and I, we talked about getting selling our home and just like refurbishing like an RV for our house.
Yep.
But I don't know if I could just like go off and live in the woods without like, actually creating like a homestead and like gardening, like actually like, building everything before that. Like I don't know if I could.
Yeah,
Um,
gardening would be key to set up a garden, like to have a homestead, I would think.
mhm. Yeah. So I'd have to really get set up, but I kill every plant I touch. So like all my plants are faux. Like my husband refused to buy me flowers because
Yeah.
everything just dies. I can't keep plants alive for the life of me. So
Oh
um
man.
yeah. So I
Tomatoes are easy. Try tomatoes. They're pretty easy. You just have to water them every morning. That's it. Every morning. But you have to make sure you put it in a deep bucket. Or you can get cherry tomatoes and put them in a small, though that cherry tomatoes will work in a small bucket.
hmm. I'll have to
And it's
see.
not a lot of work. And you can have tomatoes.
Hmm. I'll have to see because I do love tomatoes. I'm
Hmm.
sorry. Mandy. I don't know if you read, but she got kicked off due to the storm that's coming.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I did not know that. Oh wow. Yeah, that's right. She did say there was a tornado.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
I'm sorry,
Wow.
Mandy. I think we just carried on with the conversation, hoping you'd pop back up.
Oh.
Is she still in the chat?
I can't see the chat, so I don't know. Can you see the chat?
Oh, I can, yeah.
Because I didn't want to touch any buttons because I'm not really like the best at with this because I don't have an avatar or anything. So
Mm.
the last time I did it, it booted me out. So when I came in, I was like, I'm not gonna touch anything. I'm good now. So, but I think I probably could. But is she in the chat?
I think so. She said that her internet was going in and out.
Mhm.
Even the storms are coming after Mandy. Yeah,
Oh
she really
wow.
lost power.
Is there a storm where you are as well? There's a storm where I am. There's a major thunderstorm here. I can hear it.
No, I'm on the East Coast. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Nice. I used to live on the East Coast and I moved out here a couple years ago. And
I'm not a fan.
of the East Coast?
Not where we are, no.
Mm.
No.
Where I was, it was not bad, but it was really humid in the summertime and I hated that humidity.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the humidity. And the culture is it's definitely a cultural shock for me.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so I'm not a like we're like southeast coast.
Oh,
I'm
okay, okay.
not a southern person. No offense to
Oh,
anybody like Outlaw. You guys are cool. But my family, we were always north of the Mason-Dixon, so
oh,
it,
okay, okay.
I feel, yeah, it's just a little odd. I'm not used to the culture here.
Mm,
I'm not used to I mean, the weather, it's beautiful. I
yeah.
love the history here. The history's amazing, but yeah, not a big fan.
Oh, hmm. Well, where I live is like Seattle. It's like the Seattle of Canada.
So Vancouver?
Yes, close to Vancouver. Yeah,
Yeah. I've
not exactly, but like about an hour outside of there.
Oh, okay. I've been to Canada once, but I was in Windsor because my dad's from Detroit, so
Oh, nice,
going to Windsor for like a day trip. Um,
nice.
yeah, well, you guys are
Yeah,
pretty
I've been
nice.
to Detroit.
Yeah, yeah, it's an interesting city. There's certain areas though you just don't go into.
Yeah, we went to a football game to watch the Lions, and they didn't win a game the whole year. The year we were there, and they had a brand new stadium, but it was so rough. Like Detroit, it was rough.
Yeah, yeah. Most we from my dad, growing up there, he's like we mostly, he's like, yeah, we root for the Lions, but realistically, we really root for the Red Wings. That's like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
that's the team that typically wins, at least gets us in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Oh
If
yeah, yeah. The Red Wings are good.
yes, yeah. Um, so that's usually what we followed, but yeah, I grew up with like um, we were always in Red Wings gear. My dad would watch the Detroit Lions, but they I don't remember the last time they even won anything, but
No, yeah, I don't even know. Did they? I don't even know if they ever did win anything. The Detroit Lions.
I don't know. I'm not a football person, so
Mm.
I have no
Yeah,
idea.
me
I can.
neither. I haven't really watched sports in about 10 years, except MMA. I watch UFC and stuff like that. But
Mm, it's like modern day gladiator stuff.
yeah,
That's how I view
it's
it.
good though. It's like a game of chess, except for it's like you're doing everything, you know?
Never thought about it like that.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And a lot of like the submission stuff, like the jujitsu and everything, a lot of those people are really good at chess. And they they do these jujitsu tournaments where they get really stoned. They get smoke weed and stuff like that. They get really baked, and they like the people who are going against each other. So there's no animosity or anything. Like they're smoking weed together, and then they compete against each other.
Okay. I mean, continue, I guess.
hmm
Oh, that's
It,
a lot of fun.
it's funny to me though, because people like that I know that are like more of like the lefty mindset, they don't understand how two people can fight, men, women, whatever, they fight each other, and then as soon as it's over, they shake hands and they're respectful. It's like because there's no animosity. They don't hate each other. They're competing against each other, right?
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
but
I think,
yeah, oh, sorry.
no, go ahead, please.
Oh, they can't understand it because they think it's violence, but it's not violence. It's like a competition, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. The only martial arts I only took women's self-defense, but it was Krav Maga.
Oh, okay, okay.
So that's the only one I was into, but it's a lot different, I think, than MMA because in Krav Maga, I remember one of the first lessons they taught me was if someone's coming after you, it is your life or theirs, and you choose your life 100% of the time.
Oh yeah.
That was like my introduction to Krav Maga.
Oh, okay. I agree with that though.
I do too. I 100% agree with that. I was that was a fun experience though.
Oh yeah. Hey Mandy.
Hello.
Mandy,
That was crazy. My power went off like 4 times.
Oh
No,
wow.
I started seeing lightning and I got up to check it out and stuff. and then I came back. It was green. I've never seen green lightning before.
Wow.
Yeah. And then
That's-
it was just like, yeah, I think it passed over me though. So
Yeah, I'm gonna go look outside for a sec because I have a storm going on here too.
yeah.
It's just raining. There was
No.
lightning though.
No, this was some strong wind. Like my outside chairs in the back, like I saw them go across
wow.
the yard. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty quick.
Well, you
Are
were saying there
you-
was a tornado, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if any touched down. Harley keeps track of that stuff. I checked my weather thing. I didn't see. I mean, I didn't get any tornado warning pop up on my phone. Usually, if there's a warning, they'll pop one up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a little beeping sound.
Yeah.
Do you have a basement just in case?
No. I mean, I'm pretty much in the safest part of the house I'd want to be in if a tornado hit anyway. So.
Even with that massive aquarium behind you?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you brave. I
Yeah.
thought you're supposed to like go into the bathtub. Like if
And then put a mattress over you. I mean, yeah, that's what I hear too, but I don't know.
In the basement, I think, is where you're supposed to go, right? In the basement.
Well, I'm under the second story part of the house, so
Oh, okay.
yeah, I think it's kind of like a basement, I guess. The other two sides of the house are only one story, so
Oh,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
to be fair though, I've only dealt with earthquakes, so I'm used to just going in the doorways.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
um,
Yeah. We had earthquakes here, but they're not really too bad. They're just like minor.
I don't think you're not on a. Well, you're like probably right off the fault line then. The
Yeah.
ring of fire.
But when I was in Ontario, we would get them there sometimes. That's kind of what I meant. But they weren't really too bad. But you would feel them though.
Yeah.
But here, I've never felt one since I've been here though. I've been here 6 years.
I don't know. I'll take an earthquake over a tornado any day.
Yeah, I'm used to earthquakes. I want to see a tornado. I want to see one. That's why I kept getting up and kind of looking outside and being like, "Ooh, if I could just see one, that would be cool."
That would be massive. Like a big tornado. Whoo! Like the ones where people go filming beside it, those nutcases. Why would you do that?
I don't know.
If that thing turns and heads toward you, woo! I wouldn't want to be there.
Harley.
Right back, Mandy. Give me one
Okay.
second.
Okay.
Okay.
Harley said you would go to the lowest, innermost part of the building away from outside walls, windows, and doors. Get as low as you can. Make sure you have shoes on. Make sure I have shoes on. Come on, Harley. I hardly ever wear shoes. Yeah, I've thought about the whole get in the tub with a mattress. Like I would have to grab the dogs and jump in a tub. Like last time when Harley's like, there's gonna be a tornado in your area, I actually locked the dogs in the bathroom and I was gonna go sprint to there just in case I needed to jump in the tub with the dogs. Yeah.
When I was a kid, I got caught in a thunderstorm with my mom in British Columbia here. And it was a bad thunderstorm. Like it just showed up out of nowhere in a downpour. And we were in the middle of nowhere. We were walking into town and we had to get cover. And I said, we had to go under a tree. And she says, you can't go under a tree. And we're arguing here. And I'm like, you don't go under a high tree. You can go under a low tree, you know?
Right.
You stay away from, there's lots of high trees. We go under this one here, you know? And she's like, no. It was just so funny because it's pouring rain, you know?
Yeah.
We're getting soaked and I'm like 10 years old arguing with her.
Yeah. Well, I think I shared your channel, right, Primo? Yeah, let me share it again, just in case anybody in the chat here. And of course, now that I'm going to share this, you might get some trolls over at your channel.
Okay.
Just be prepared. No.
Yeah, no problem.
When
I have some from the dating app guy too. So.
yeah. Oh no, these are crazy bitches that are on my list. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No worries.
Yeah.
Alice people.
The Alice people. Shout
Yeah.
out True Blood. I feel pretty confident that she can handle these Alice people. Yes, I can.
Is she still hanging around?
Oh, she psycho watches. Yeah, like 2 minutes after I was after Tony Bruno came over. Like I was doing a post 21 stream and he was in the chat, and like 2 minutes after he commented in the chat, he got a bunch of emails. He got 8 emails from crazy bitches.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm like, that sounds familiar.
I don't understand, like, why. Like, it's such an easy thing to do. If you disagree with someone or you don't like what they're saying,
Yeah.
you don't listen.
Yeah.
Like that. It's a very basic concept, and I mean, as long as they're not talking about, going out and like harming people or telling their followers to go out and harm people, like why do you have to go after them? Why do you have to like with Undead Chronic, like they went after him.
Yeah.
It's like, why? Just why are you so afraid of what he's saying?
Right. They're
Why?
afraid of what he's saying. Exactly.
That's what it is. Yeah.
And Marie, come on. We know that females don't like to be held accountable. Yeah.
That's why we need to go back 200 years.
Exactly.
But at the end of the day, as annoying as it is to everyone else, it's so bad for themselves. They're hurting themselves 100% more than they're hurting anybody else.
Yeah.
But they're,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's free speech is just it's literally it's the cornerstone of, to me, for any free society, that you should be able to express what you want, say what you want, and people can choose to listen or not. And if you want to engage them, but don't be like upset or shocked if you're not welcomed because you're being a brat about it. Like, I don't know. Basic civility is lost on most people.
Yeah. But hate is like taking poison and expecting someone else to get sick, because you're the only one that suffers from hating other people. They don't really suffer. You're suffering, right? It's affecting you.
Yep. Yeah. It is. If you want me asking, Primo, I do apologize. I've been in the MGTOW sphere for a while, but I've never seen your channel. What do you go over?
Oh, I have some gaming streams that I do on there, Call of Duty, and I have some shorts of some dating app content of like women with like I don't know, just people talking on a dating app, just different things that people say, different conversations, interesting things, just shorts. Like the dating app ones are usually only about a minute long.
Okay.
Just about crazy bitches, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I don't call it that, but it's a different name. Same type idea though.
Yeah. Well, I guess you guys can't get away with saying crazy bitches like I can.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Right? Yeah.
It's amazing what some of them will say to him though. Like some of them will actively say, I got pregnant by a guy that I didn't even give a crap about, and now he pays me money and stuff like that. Like they'll actually say that,
But yet you're not allowed to call out that that's crazy bitch behavior. Like, it's insane, And we know the definition of bitch, right?
Yeah,
I mean, come on. Come on. These are
I know.
technical terms here.
I know. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
actively talking about like taking advantage of people, basically, right?
Yeah.
You know, that don't understand or whatever, that, you know, and
Yeah.
that's fine, you know. And if you even talk about how to not get taken advantage of, they don't want that, you know.
Right. They don't want you guys to be able to learn how to defend yourselves properly from them.
No, no.
But then they're complaining where they're like, well, men are no longer paying us attention, or men are walking away from marriage or relationships.
Yep.
And they kind of give you that Pikachu face of what happened.
I don't
Yeah.
know. Shouldn't be a crazy bitch.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
I think that Hammerhand said it right though, and I have to shout out to Hammerhand. They never figured that people would actually do that, you know? Because
Right.
that's the first thing people will say to me, like, don't you want to get laid all the time? Like, no, it's not worth it if I had to go through all that negativity, right?
Yeah.
no, and women, I mean, again, maybe just coming from my husband being in the military too. I mean, he saw guys just, I mean, literally just one after the other that would get baby trapped, or
Yeah.
one guy in his unit was actually, they handed out, so his unit actually handed out consent cards for the guys that would go to bars. And so if they were going home with a girl, they were like, make sure she reads this and signs it, and then put it
What?
back in your wallet. And
What?
yeah, that's how bad it is.
Right.
And one of the guys in his unit, one of the girls that he went home with for one night stand, she wanted a relationship with him. He did not. They got together, I guess, a couple extra times after that, and that was that for him. And so she tried to accuse him of rape. And he pulled out his little consent card. And he's like, she
Wow.
signed it. Like, I don't know what you want me to do. Like, she signed it. And,
That's funny.
and they finally, I guess, command finally kind of, they were talking to her, and she finally broke down. And from our understanding, from what he told the guys in the unit, she was just sitting there crying and just started saying, well, I wanted a relationship with him, and he
Exactly.
didn't want to be my boyfriend. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like,
So then I lied. Yeah.
yes, let me completely destroy his life. Not only his life, but not only just putting him in jail, but if he gets a dishonorable discharge from the military, he's lucky if he's working at like anything like on the corner. Like, that's literally what he has as his option at that point.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think that's not talked about enough, Marie. Why this happens in the first place? Like, the initial intention of the woman, and she will use sex for this, whether it's with a relationship or in the workplace or any of the things. Like, if she's using sex to try to get what she wants, and then she doesn't get what she wants, she will try to blame the sex on him. Which is fucked up, because she's the one that offered it up in the first place.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, or she'll withdraw her consent.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah, we should have a deep dive on that one day to figure out why our society allows women to get away with that shit. Like,
yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's a very big topic, because then you're not only going into individual women, but now you're going up into law,
the whole exactly.
universities, government.
Yep.
You're hitting all of them at that point, because they all allow it.
Yep. And they use, I mean, let's be honest, women are the gatekeepers of sex. They use sex to get what they want. If they don't get what they want, they'll pretend they weren't using sex, that somebody was taking it from them.
Yeah,
which is wrong.
Yeah.
The whole Me Too movement is just like that.
Yeah. It's horrible.
Yeah.
I think the first step to the true equality, though, is that 2 years on the table, whoever gets it, right? That's the first step for the false allegation, right? 2 years on the table, Johnny Depp gets 2 years or Amber Heard gets 2 years, right? If she's lying, she goes to jail. If she's telling the truth, he goes to jail. But somebody's going to jail, right?
Yeah, I like that. And whoever accused and lied, it should be double the punishment.
Yes, yes. But I think we have to start off with 50-50 first, because there's no way they'll go for it when then they're getting double, right? And they won't go for that
Okay.
right off the bat. But we'll definitely push for that once. We'll get 50-50 first, and then right away, double. Because, yeah, you want to incentivize not lying.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because that's more, the whole thing didn't even have to happen, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and that's one of the things that always, I think, what a lot of the MGTOW gentlemen that I was listening to, because like you're seeing what's going on. Well, I was seeing what was going on in the schools, and then I started listening to MGTOW red pill gentlemen, and then they start exposing what's going actually on in society, and at the end of the day, like I'm terrified for my nephews. Like I'm literally like, please become a priest. Like just like let's just skip over this whole relationship. So just become a priest.
Oh.
Like don't even bother. Like I mean I like even like for like my brother, like he ended up marrying one of my friends, oddly enough. And I threatened her. Like if I told her, I said, if you break my brother's heart, I will break every bone in your body.
Right.
Just reality. My
Right.
brother's an amazing man.
Yeah.
He's my brother. And you don't mess with that. I don't care how long you guys been married, I'll break you.
Yeah. But there's the kind of outside accountability aspect. There's the I'm watching what you're doing aspect of it. Like don't fuck this up.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he's being watched by all of us.
Yeah. But that's not a bad thing. I don't
No,
think that's a bad thing at all.
no,
Like,
No, that's good.
yeah.
she's a good wife. She's a good wife, a good mother.
Yeah. Good.
So
Good.
but yeah, no, it's sad though, and like you're listening to these men though, and you can't help but tell them like, please walk away, just walk away from it all.
Fucking Kang.
58-4. Okay. Oh, dear. I feel like I shouldn't even read some of these.
Oh man. You know she's watching all of this. She's screenshot after screenshot after screen. Hey Alice, will you send me those screenshots so we can make actual memes out of them? That would be sick.
With her, and that's one thing though too though, like I really admire Mandy. Just to kind of side conversation really quick, I've always like watching what you've done and watched your previous streams, I always admired you for calling these women out. And I think though too though, and I noticed that there has been kind of like a shift where you've called them out and now you're like, okay, cutting them off and now I'm moving on. And I think that that's so wise, because if we continue to give them attention, if you continue to give them good or bad, it doesn't matter, it's attention.
Right.
And they want that and they feed off of that. That's narcissism.
Yeah. Well, and they think they're special. Like I don't have a million crazy bitches on my list that I need to go through anyway. Like I can't just spend all my time with Alice.
I guess, yeah. And I mean, yeah, there's a lot more other stuff to talk about. I mean, what's great about women like that though is that they literally give you the perfect example of what to look for and what women should avoid.
Here's another landmine. Landmine.
Yeah.
Stay away.
But yeah, it's like I said though, like I'm seeing the culture, and my heart just breaks for what's going on, because like especially if you grow up with a family where like your great grandparents were married for 62 years before great grandfather passed away. Your grandparents were married for almost, for 59 years. Your parents are, 44 years. And like you have this longevity, but then you're seeing like the society breakdown, and you see how they treated their husbands, but then you're seeing these women that are just destroying their husbands, and like we're not giving men anything. Like why? Like literally, the men are the protectors of society. They're the builders of society, and we're not giving them anything that's worthy of protecting or building for.
Right.
And it's like at this point, women, it's our own fault.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's our own fault.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Fucking Kush. Oh man. She asked for it. She fucking asked for it, man. She wanted the dude's attention. She's got it.
I haven't been able to engage in the chat because I don't see the chat. So my apologies to everybody in the chat.
No. It's distracting.
I always like to though. I enjoy engaging always,
Mm-hmm.
That's my favorite part. That's kind of what I do on my channel. I just have a chat and just talk with people,
Yeah.
a lot of the time.
Now, if you don't mind me asking, obviously you're here with Mandy, but do you care if women visit your content?
Yeah, I don't care. Yeah, no worries. Yeah.
Unless they're crazy bitches.
No, I don't care. Everybody's welcome. Go ahead. You can hate on me all day long if you want.
I've known like there's a couple of guys I know they're just like we don't want you guys engaging, like just leave us alone. And
okay.
It's like okay, that's cool. I don't need to go.
I understand that though. I totally understand that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's like, well, you know what? If that, you don't want us, if you don't want me there, I'm cool. I don't have to go there. Like that's great. It's my choice.
Yeah.
I don't have to go there, and I'm okay with that. But I usually. Some of the guys, like I've casually just kind of popped in and I just kind of see like if they're like, get out of here, or if they're, like, oh, she's fine. She can stay.
Oh.
Right.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it doesn't bother me at all. I personally don't care. As long as people are respectful and everything, like that's, as like everybody else is,
What? Wait, when are crazy bitches ever respectful?
No. Well,
That's
the people that are
thing.
not respectful, I don't want them on my channel.
Okay.
I don't want them anywhere around me. But the people that are cool, respectful, and chill, they're always welcome.
This is why he wants to go live in the woods.
Right.
Everybody.
Right.
Exactly.
But going back though to that topic though, Mandy, of like for women and getting away with everything, I think that would be a really good topic to hit. Maybe have I don't know your channel, but maybe get various perspectives and stuff to see how they would recommend that be done.
Yeah.
So I would use that as an indicator because I dated a girl one time and she had 2 DUIs and I knew that she was definitely big trouble because if she got caught twice DUIs, how many times did she get away with it that she got caught twice,
Right.
So kind of you can use that as an indicator. If they've been caught once or twice doing something, they're really bad because they've probably done it 20 other times that they didn't get arrested, that they let them off, right?
Primo, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
I don't mean to be rude, but why would you date someone like that? Like I
wasn't dating somebody like that, but much like your brother-in-law, when guys are young, they do really stupid things, especially when there's pretty girls. And sometimes pretty girls are crazy, but they're pretty, but they're crazy. And guys will do dumb things, but the older guys they learn, and then they won't deal with that as much.
Right.
So, but I was young and fairly dumb. Not that that was an excuse. I probably shouldn't have dealt with that person, but I did learn fairly quickly, and I did not spend too much time with them. So.
Okay.
But if to go back in time, I wouldn't have even talked to them. If I know now what I know then, I wouldn't have even talked to them.
Yeah, like it's like one of the things that there's a couple of other gentlemen I've listened to. They're probably maybe early 20s. He's early 20s. So he's trying to teach a lot of the younger guys, like, watch out for this craziness. And I think it's the he hasn't posted in a while, but the Lonnie Spence show.
Mm.
I think
Oh yeah, I know the young guy. Yeah. I know. I remember that guy.
Yeah, so I know I think he definitely, a lot of the younger guys really kind of gravitated towards him. He hasn't posted though in quite a while. But I think that's one of the things that I noticed he seems to be teaching is for guys to have self-respect and being okay with having those standards and making sure that she meets those standards.
What channel
Yeah.
is this?
It's the Lonnie Spence show.
LONNY?
Yeah, LONNY. He hasn't posted in a while, but yeah, that
He used to
gentleman.
be called something else before that, like Red Pill something.
Yeah, he was something. Yeah, I can't remember what the original name was.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that. Yeah, because he's a young guy. He's really tall. Because I didn't think he was that young, and I remember he said, I think that he was like 22 or something.
Yeah, thank you, Father Saunders. He said Young Men's Daily Red Pill. That's what it was.
Yes, nice.
He's
Thank you, Father Saunders.
I've always liked listening to him. He does bring in some biblical aspects too. He did like a Sunday sermon kind of thing, where he would bring in like Proverbs and Psalms and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember that. That he would read out of the Bible.
And then he would. I mean, the Bible is. I mean, if you look at it, the Bible is very much teaches men like what to look for, what to avoid, and how to conduct themselves, and in life.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you're not a Christian, or believe in the Bible, like I think it's a good little roadmap on that, at least on that aspect too. You can still learn something from it.
Yeah, the stories are good lessons for life for sure.
Especially Proverbs for men. Proverbs is a big one for men.
Yeah. Yeah, the Sodom and Gomorrah was created for a reason. That story, right? So don't live this way, and it won't come crashing down.
Right. Yeah, the more and more I like look at Bible stories and stuff, and how, I mean, I think the hell that they talk about literally is like your life if you choose to partake in all this bad stuff. Like you'll go to hell, you'll live in hell.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's a big concept, and and it tells you too, like if you don't choose your friends wisely, if you don't choose the woman in your life wisely, like they can bring damnation upon you. They can tear a man down, and scripture has shown where the women, when they've been conniving, and they've literally ripped kings down from their thrones.
right.
Whereas when a woman is, on the flip side, when a woman is faithful and
Doing her damn job.
righteous, a righteous woman, she actually lifts him up.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But nowadays they think that nagging and like, ball busting is motivation. No. You need to be the other type of like niceness motivation. That type,
Encouraging, not abusive. Like
positive energy, not negative,
Yeah.
Well, and I don't know if Mandy, if you've ever read this, and Prima, I apologize if you haven't either, but like one of the things I actually read with my husband was the 5 love languages, to kind of figure it out. And one of the things that I did read too is that men, a lot of ways that men understand love, of course, again, not everybody, but is words of affirmation. It's the words
Mhm.
that really will build up a man. And a lot of men because we went to a marriage retreat on it too.
Yeah.
Almost all the men in the room, minus like one or two, were all their primary love languages were words of affirmation.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest things they always talked about, and they were bold, like they were just letting everything out. But
Yeah.
they were straight up just, and it wasn't to shame their wives, but they had to get this stuff out. And I was honestly, it was nice to see.
Yeah.
But like they brought up the nagging, the not trusting him to make the right decisions in the family and lead the family, and her always kind of hovering. And he's
Yeah.
like, "You're not my mother. You're my wife. Act like
Right. Right.
Never.
Yeah.
But the words of affirmation, Marie, if that's their love language, could you imagine the opposite of that? The abusive
Yeah.
misandry, the shaming, the words of destruction, how that
Mhm.
affects the dudes? Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely. And like like oh gosh, I can't remember the exact scripture quote, but it says something like kind words can lift up the soul, but an evil tongue essentially can tear you down. And I think for men too, like I think you brought it up yesterday, was the respect factor. Is not only should the woman respect the man, with the way she presents herself to obviously to others, because she's a representation of him, but how she respects him um, verbally as well. That if
Yeah.
she builds him up and she says, "I trust you to lead us. You're the husband, you're the head of our family." That's that can change a man's entire perspective on things. And I've seen that where um, where a wife went from nagging and telling him like, you are, you can't do this, you're never going to accomplish this, and then he literally starts believing that himself. And
Right.
I mean, it beats him down. And
Yeah.
then if the wife is finally literally slapped to her senses, and if a wife has come around and she starts speaking to him in words of love and respect,
Yeah.
I mean, the man's entire demeanor goes through the roof.
Yeah. That's why, like, I can tell when I'm dealing with a married man, when I'm in conversation with a married man, and he's chill and he's, he's not what I would consider a crazy bitch. I know that his wife is a badass. Like, she does her job. She's not emotionally terrorizing him. Like I can see the kind of wives people have through their husbands, if that makes sense.
Yeah. 100%.
Like there's a lot of men in our society that are not well, and they're with women who are helping them not be well. And I'm
Yeah.
like, that's not good. Like,
No.
if a man's struggling emotionally and mentally like that, there's something fucking wrong with his wife. Like,
Yeah. And it's a codependency thing where it's like they're kind of like tied together, and it's like this abuse thing that keeps them there because, they're both not well,
right.
but it's only that one of them kind of knows and is using it against the other one, and the other one has kind of no idea, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Actually, I saw this little short thing from this gentleman that I follow on YouTube, and it was a couple. They're like like those TV divorce courts,
Mm-hmm.
and it was only like a 25-second clip, but the judge was a female, and then the police officer in there was this really big buff guy. And the guy was, talking to the judge about, unhappy. And he's like, and he points at the police officer and he goes, "Look at him. You can tell he's unhappy." He goes, "Man can't even smile." And, everybody in the courtroom kind of laughed. And, they pan to the guy, he kind of smiles a little bit. And the judge looks at him and she goes, "How long have you been married?" He goes, 20 years. And she goes, "Oh, he's happily married, happily married." And then the clip kind of goes, and that escalated quickly, and then it goes to this news, like a clip, like a news article thing about a guy that killed his wife, and it ended up being the exact same police officer that was in that divorce court.
Oh, shit.
And it said, and I remember I'll have to see if I can find it for you, Mandy, but it said like men see it, like men see what's going on, even if it's unspoken, like they can see it.
Yeah.
And everyone was just like, in the comments, everyone's like, was not expecting that. Like, holy crap. But and it's true, like men, like I feel like sometimes you guys can just kind of look at it, but like, yeah, he's miserable. He's miserable.
Yeah. That's how I can tell the single guys, because they're like me. They're happy, smiling. They got like pop in their step, you know? It's rare when I see it like a married guy. Sometimes I do though, and I see them and they're happy. And I see them later with like a kid or something. I'd be like, "You're married?" He's like, "Yeah." I said, "Oh, I thought you were single. The way you were smiling the other day." He says, "No." It's unfortunate though, but a lot of people are upset when they're in a relationship, men and women, I think, you know?
Yeah,
It's not supposed to be that way.
No, it's not supposed to be that way. Peng said a good marriage takes years to develop.
Yes, it does. And you're going to have good times and bad times. And it's every day you have to say, I do. It's not just one and done. It's every day as I do.
Yeah, exactly.
And, you know, like you're two separate people. You're not always going to agree on something. You're not always going to see eye to eye. You're going to have your argument. But at the end of the day, it's, I still love you. I'm still in this. And tomorrow's a brand new day, and we'll go from, keep going from there. And that's just what it is.
Yeah.
But I think going back to the idea of our culture though, the lack of interaction with people too is, we have a culture that, if something doesn't come easy, we toss it out, or something is broken, damaged, we toss it out instead of fixing it.
Right.
Which blows my mind, because you don't appreciate things that come easy. So people want everything easy, and then you don't appreciate it anyway, you know?
Right.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
So
and then they wonder why they're not happy.
Yeah, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy at that point. Yeah. Oh, they perpetuate their own unhappiness.
Yeah. But they won't admit it though, is the crazy part. Like, we can help, but they just double down on the lies and the bullshit.
Yeah, because they can't admit that they're wrong.
They married the wrong person.
Right?
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's supposed to. I think the big thing is that neither one is inferior or superior to the other. Like, people have strengths and weaknesses, right?
Yeah.
But that's where I think everybody's equal, and
Yeah, and no, they're not.
No, yeah, exactly. They're not. Nobody's equal. Not one person is equal. Not one person.
Right. Right.
Joe Rogan had a good joke about that, where he's like, "I met Shaquille O'Neal, and my face is where his dick is." He's like, "I'm not. If I work at the White House and Shaquille O'Neal's attacking, I'm not the guy for that job."
Right.
Which is true, right? He's huge.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing though too, though, is that you hear the feminists talk about equality, and actually Hermit just posted a video about it, where this woman is drinking and she's expecting the guy to cover the entire bill, and the guy's like, "I thought we were equal. Like, you pay your money." And and he even tells her, he goes, is like, we're only equal in certain, like, when you want to be equal.
Yeah.
That's the key.
Yeah.
And it's true. And they pick and choose when they want to be equal. Like, oh my gosh, World War III is coming. Well, I guess we're all going to be housewives now. Like,
Right.
You know?
Selective. Yeah.
yeah, very selective on what they want, when they want equality, and um, it's just disgusting, and it's not that's not equality. Like, I'm all for, like, if you want equality, let's make full on all female infantry groups in the military, all female, and we will send them to the front lines, and they can deal with the IEDs and the mortars and everything else. And you know what? They can be GI Jane all they want, and I'm happy with that. Like, we can do that. There's
I'm a
some,
plumber too. Don't forget the plumbers. We need 50% there too.
yeah. Yep.
No. They're already
It's a good
super
paying job.
No. They're already super incompetent in the majority of jobs that they get thrusted into. Like,
I know.
we need working pipes, and we need, like,
Yes.
competent military members.
Yes, it's pretty important.
Yeah. Yeah.
Building society, protecting it. It's still really important to keep up.
Yeah.
But, I mean, but that would be true equality if that's what feminists want. Then that's, and instead of pushing women into like, one of the things I've always said, instead of pushing women into power, positions of power society, then they should, if they really want like full on equality, then they should be pushing for women into positions that keep society running first, because you have to figure out how to keep society, like, running, like, just basic functions, before you think you can actually lead it. Like,
yeah, but I don't know. I go back to, Marie, that if you want equality, you should develop yourself and become equally as capable.
yes, absolutely.
Like they're like, I want equality, but they're like, give it to me. When it's like, oh no. I need to work on myself, so I elevate myself into this position that I think I deserve. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Not just give it to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I do agree with you. Like, and like, I remember I talked to this one woman. She wanted to, when they opened up combat MOSs for military, or for women in the military. Mm-hmm. And she was like, oh yeah, I'm going to go ahead and join the infantry. I'm like, okay, well, how tall are you? And she's like, oh, I'm 5'4". And I'm like, okay. How much do you weigh? Like, honestly, how much do you weigh? And I think she said maybe, like, I think she was like between like 130 to 140. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay. I was like, let's just do basic too.
Whoa! Hold on, you're about to do the maths on that. Most women can't math.
I kept it. This is how simple I kept it, because I've worked with kindergartners. Okay,
I know.
I can explain things in a very basic level.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. I was like, let's just take my husband, for example. My husband is 5'10", 180 pounds. I was like, so right there, he's taller than you, and he outweighs you. Okay. Yeah. And she's like, yes, I agree. I was like, okay, we're good. And I was like, we're just going to do even numbers, so that way, there's no confusion. I was like, let's just talk about, like, body gear that they wear. Okay. I was like, typically body gear is about 75 pounds, but let's just round it up to 80. I was like, we're keeping this simple. Let's just round up to 80.
Yeah.
And, so now we're like at what? 260. Now my husband. So, and I was like, now let's add in, if he's carrying extra ammo on him. Like, we're going up to about additional 100 pounds. So he starts off at 180, now we're getting close to almost 300 pounds with full gear and everything on. And I was like, now you're telling me, as a 5'4" woman, weighing 130 to 140 pounds in your own gear, say again, we're getting up to about 100 pounds.
Yeah.
You're now going to be able to drag my husband out of harm's way. And my husband's the average, and he has guys that were in his unit that were bodybuilders. Like, I mean, we're talking like 200 some odd pounds of just pure muscle.
Yeah.
On top of their, with their gear too. And I was like, now you're trying to tell me in a firefight,
Right.
you're able to properly drag my husband out of harm's way.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, if you cannot answer a definite yes to that, I said, you have no business being in the infantry. Because what's going to happen is you're going to put someone like my husband on the line. You're putting someone else's husband's on the line, someone's son on the line, someone's father on the line.
Yep.
And if it came down to, I found out my husband didn't come home because of you,
Right.
I was like, I would gladly go to jail.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, you need to think about that. Just because the government is saying you can, doesn't mean that you physically can.
Right.
And you better not put our husbands, our fathers, our sons in harm's way simply to prove a point for yourself.
Yeah.
Right. You know what's funny, Marie? At the conference, there's this chick Liz that I'm going to do an interview with. She was another one of the volunteers, but we were putting together these gift bags, and she was trying to explain to me how it was going, and she was totally like breaking it down. Like I felt like it reminded me of you and how you explained to the dumb crazy bitches stuff. So I asked her, I was like, are you a kindergarten teacher? It was so damn funny. Actually, I think you'll like her. Her and her husband were
everything too.
Huh?
Does she label everything too?
Oh, she's probably a label Nazi like you are. Yeah, she's funny. I think you'll like her though. When I get her up here. Her and her husband were on their honeymoon volunteering at the convention.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Props to them, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, well, and that's the thing you have to do though is and they don't want to face basic, going back to the biology concept, they don't want to face basic biology.
Right.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah. I mean, was it, I believe, an enraged 12-year-old boy, his strength is, was it almost stronger than an average adult woman.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you really think you can compete? Like,
nope.
Yeah.
You're gonna get them killed, and then you have those men that also think, well, she's here, and if she starts screaming or crying, then we have to protect her too.
Right. And that's a natural response. That's like
for sure.
in a man's biology to protect women. Like yeah.
I noticed that at the Freedom Convoy, that was the case, right?
Yeah. Now, my husband said, and because I asked him, I said, if a woman's put in your unit, I said, will you protect her? And he's like, I'll always protect, whoever's on my right and my left. He goes, but if she's doing something stupid, she's
exactly.
doing something that's, causing all of that, he goes, no, he goes, I'm coming home.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I would be worried about, that someone would cause an event, just to tell people about it or whatever, like our lives are on the line,
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. And I mean, that can be, obviously the military is, extreme, or, obviously a different thing than, a regular job. But then again, though, you also have jobs where you do have to lift heavy. You do have to, they're physically demanding, and women's bodies simply cannot keep up.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We're not meant for that. And that's okay.
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing wrong with that. There's other things. Everyone has different things that they're good at,
Yeah.
and better at than everyone else. Certain things, like, there's no, I don't know. Like I said, Shaquille O'Neal could easily dunk a basketball over me.
Right.
Or that wasn't what I said about him, but something like that. He's way bigger than me.
Right.
But well, I'm glad though, Mandy, you got to go to the 21 conventions. I'm glad it's a success and everything as well.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to when everything comes out, if you can kind of give your critique on different things that pop up.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be a while, I think, before the actual speeches come out. I know they like to do like really good editing and all that kind of stuff. I mean that all the ones that I saw were amazing. So I'm in the process of trying to get together the people I had conversations with and go through and have them on the channel and have them talk about it, and met a lot of cool people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All on the same page, all from different bubbles of the manosphere, like all came to the 21 convention through this echo chamber over here,
Yeah.
Like yeah, it was really cool.
That's funny. I heard you say that you could see that there's one group of people here, they're like in shape and everything. And then the people at Disney World, they're like,
Yeah.
not that type of people.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, at the yeah, the resort, I guess. I don't know,
Yeah.
hotel. Yeah. Yeah, all the 21 people were in shape, and then
Yeah.
all the Disney people were not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times with like one of the things I noticed, at least about the Maytao community specifically, is that they do promote and they do try to help each other too, of taking care of yourself. Like that's
Yeah.
just a basic thing.
Yeah.
Right, like you see like Hermit, like he'll hand out, I've even messaged him. I'm like, I can't work out, what can I do right now? Help me.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Like like just basic advice, and
Yeah.
that's a big thing for, and just taking care of yourself is, like, I think a big thing that within the community as a whole, not just
Yeah.
working out, but just taking care of yourself is
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
One of
Well, y'all-
Hermit's videos is my favorite. It's the Marilyn Monroe bot one. Do you remember that one? It was funny.
No, I haven't seen it.
From Futurama. It was a Marilyn Monroe bot. It was like
Ah.
it was funny. I can't explain it. It was hilarious though.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah.
You guys, if you don't mind, I am getting tired. I have a conversation that I need to have after this too, really quick.
Oh wow.
But is there any kind of wrapping up type of messages you want to give out into the interwebs?
For me, I'm good. No. No
No?
message from me. No.
Did
Just
you
thank
get-
you very much. Thank you for
Yeah.
having me.
Yeah, did you get everything out, Primo, that you wanted to
Yes,
get out?
I believe that I did, but I probably forgot about a lot of things, but I'll be around, so I'll be in here and I'll be talking to you again. So
Okay.
I'll remember it the next time.
Yeah. Well, it was nice learning more about your story and your experience, and man, your big family,
Hmm.
like that sounds so great.
I know, right?
Yeah. All
Well,
right,
thank you
Primo.
guys. Yeah, it was
Thank
great
you.
talking to you, and it was great meeting you, Marie. It was good to talk to you as well. And all right, guys, have a good night.
All right. Good night, Primo.
Yeah. Good night, guys. Bye bye.
I'll let you go, Mandy. You can
Okay.
get some rest, but just thank you for allowing me to come up and to talk.
Yeah. Thank you very much. And your Catholic wisdom is always appreciated. I feel like you always bring up Bible oh, there's I have to send you a link. There's one of the speakers at the convention I think you'll love. Really, really love. I don't think he has a channel though.
Does he
But
have a
I'll,
webpage?
I don't know. Let me look. Studios.
I already took my paint bets.
Yeah.
And I'll send you the video of my niece.
Yeah.
You can see her when she's a fresh seed. Just a little baby. He's adorable.
Yeah, I'll have to find a video for you and send it.
All right, sounds good. Well,
Yeah.
send it to me on Discord, but get some rest, and also thank you again for the shampoo.
Yeah. Oh, you're very welcome. I hope you enjoy it. It
I
should
am-
be it should smell like heaven. What
Oh,
I
it
imagine
does.
heaven would smell like.
It does. Like oh my gosh, it smells so good. I've already looked at Ulta to see what the cost is, so when it runs out, I can buy more.
Yeah. I mean, just a little goes a long way, so that should last months and months. So
Yeah, I mean, well, my hair's medium length, so
yeah,
yeah,
but shampoo at the root and
mhm.
run it down and then condition the ends.
Yeah, that's what I've been
Yeah.
doing. I've been using
Yeah.
I've been trying to use like a dime size, but
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
smells so good, so I may casually put a little bit extra just to smell it. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, thank you again. I appreciate
You're
it.
very welcome. Thank you, Marie.
All right, bye bye.
And have a good night, everybody. Thank you for joining the stream. Motorboat Henry, Peng, Harley, Timothy, Kush. Yeah. Kush has a stream tomorrow. Let's see, tomorrow's Tuesday, right? Kush has a stream tomorrow. Father Saunders, have a good night. Who else is in here? Peng, Timothy, Nella Wolf, JR. Bandit went to bed a while ago. We'll see y'all later. We'll see you tomorrow at Kush's.